Assassination.
You've been fast and strong.
You'll get all-time classics like
I got the jam. It's been too long. I'm glad to be fast. Yes, I got the juice. I took two. Tell me, Dr. Fauci, what you want me to do, cause I'm fast.
Enter to win a signed copy of the album by Brian Johnson & Johnson.
I took a fast vaccine during quarantine. It was the worst damn shakes I have ever seen. I'm number
Legendary hits like
quarantine for just 2 weeks. Stay away from me for just 6 feet. CDC will tell you lies. CDC and ignore all your cries. Hell, Bill. Oh, Angus, are you alright? A palsy. You're shaking, you're shaking. Oh, hell, Bill. Somebody call a doctor. Where's Fauci? A palsy. Dr. Fauci, hello. Oh, hell, Bill. Hello. Dr. Fauci. A palsy. Hello.
I don't like them putting chemicals in the water that turn the friggin' frogs gay. Do you understand that? Turn the friggin' frogs gay. Serious crap. Gay. Frogs, friggin' frogs. It's not funny. I'm gonna say it real slow for you. Gay. Frogs. Won't you fight for your life? Gay. Frogs, friggin' frogs. I don't like a frogs. Gay. Friggin' frogs. Quack, 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 quack. Frogs. Friggin' frog crap. Won't you fight the frogs? It's not funny. I'm gonna say it real slow for you.
But and there's a dome where projections of the moon and the stars are shown around the edge, and I fall, and that's why Australians don't just now you're in. Just trust your feelings. Now you're in on it. Your life's about to change. And now you're in. Don't overthink it. And now you're in on it. Dear. Don't feel the same. And now you're in. And now we're in on the secret.
Follow Crumb. Follow Crumb. Follow Crumb. Don't follow Crumb. The line.
Good luck.
3, 2, 1.
Follow Crumb.
All right. All right. Oh, Jeran in the house. What up, my man?
What is up, Crumb? Oh,
All right. All right. We made it. We did it on time.
yeah, really. We're supposed to start 11, weren't we?
Yeah. That's my bad. That's my bad. That's not Jaren's fault, guys. This is my fault. I don't want him to take the fall on this. I know it's probably a rumor here that Jeran probably is involved, but no. This is my bad. I started a little late.
Why would that be a rumor?
What?
What do you mean? Why would it be a rumor? Why would it be a rumor that I'm involved in that?
Oh, because no reason. You start on time all the time. It's totally normal.
Usually early, actually.
You've been really good lately, actually.
Not bad. I do like to start a little bit late on purpose. I think it gets a little more people in the audience and waiting. Remember when I don't know if you remember last New Year's, I did a New Year's proclamation that I would be on time for all my shows, and I did it for all of January and February, and it sucked because every time I started the show, there was nobody in the chat because nobody would show up at the time I was supposed to start. So I was like, okay, I think I actually like being late. So anyway,
yeah, it creates a little buzz like, oh, he must be really preparing something good. I mean, oh yes, I know. Sometimes when I'm like really excited, like I'll even start like a little early, and I'm like, what am I doing? It's just because I'm excited, and then but like if you look at the numbers, most people usually don't hop on until like 10 minutes into it.
It's true.
So yeah. Welcome to the Gravy Brunch, man.
Very cool.
I'm gonna start doing this every Wednesday around this time, around brunch time.
I like it.
Yeah, yeah, it's kind of nice. Last week I had Dave, and it went really well. I've never seen numbers like that. That was crazy.
People like Dave. I don't
And
know what's wrong with people. Tells me people got issues, but they like the guy.
okay, I want to talk about the whole okay, because when people say that people do this for money, here's I have a new like that's so stupid kind of argument.
Okay.
That would mean, I mean, because the earth is flat regardless of whether somebody is shilling, right? Like, so that would mean that, like, if flat earth is a scam, that means you'd have to be so brilliant to just think of something that should be stupid and come up with such convincing arguments to negate all the other ones. You'd have to be a fucking genius just to cover all of that alone, then find a way to find money on top of it. Like, if I was to say, like, okay, I'm going to scam people and say that, you know, I don't know, unicorns are real. Well, first I'd have to come up with extremely good evidence that would convince people on the daily that they are, and then find a way to monetize that. Like, that's genius.
And then,
you know, so
you can start blocking all of your videos that say unicorns
right.
are real, and then put a little thing underneath there: unicorns are fake, and they can't possibly be real. And then ban you from ever having anything in the coming up next, or in the you know, main page of YouTube, or to, you know, can't share the stuff. I mean, it's just, it'd be very difficult.
Can't be on PayPal now. Yeah, you know, yeah, and like, if that was true, though, can we at least admit that, like, Dave and Mark and you are like fucking like Mensa level times 10 geniuses to be able to pull off a scam like that? Like, like, can we at least give you guys credit for being able to? Like, that should at least be a feat in itself if that was the case that they're making. So that's what I don't understand. If they're making that case, they should at least, like, stand back and humble and be like, wow, you guys have, like, figured out a way to combat every single argument and find a way to make a few bucks on the side. Oh my God.
And
like,
because
it's amazing.
And never be able to be hired anywhere else again. And that's all fun stuff. It's just to make, you know, $2,000 or $3,000 a month is impressive.
Dude, you were worrying me when I was listening to your stream. I was just thinking the same thing. I'm like, what am I getting myself into? Because because like, I'm doing, you know, I'm putting myself out there more and more, and I think about that, like, about money wise and stuff. And luckily for me, I could always kind of get a side hustle playing music in, like, clubs and shit.
Right.
And they don't really care so much about my background. And recently, actually, I got offered a job to be a gondolier, and I think I'm going to take it. It sounds great. But you're right. Like, if somebody was to, like, look up my background for anything, like, corporate wise, I mean, they'd have first they'd say, like, well, look at this. I made up a way to, I conned people into believing in unicorns.
I'm gonna have to go with that route, I guess. No, I'm actually brilliant. This is what you don't understand what I've done here.
Yeah, yeah.
I wanted to work for home from the last 10 years. So what I thought of is, let me think of the craziest thing. The thing we were all
like, let me think of the dumbest thing and see how I could, the hardest thing to convince people of doing. Yeah, create that. Yeah, so absolutely, man.
I'm very brilliant.
It's been a while since we kind of chatted and collabed, man. You know, I took a little time off, and I see, yeah, you know, and just to kind of reassess myself. I do that sometimes, and it kind of hurt me, like, numbers wise, but it gave me a chance to kind of come back. And now
you do need that break every once in a while. It's harder to get than people think, but it's, you know, I heard it described one time as like conspiracies are like a glass of water, right? So if I gave you a glass of water and told you to hold it up for 10 seconds, could you do it? Easily. Could you do it for an hour? Probably. Could you do it for 3 hours? Probably. Could you do it for, you know, 18 hours? Probably not. You know, you're gonna have, so they just said conspiracies are the same way. You have to put that glass down every once in a while. If you try and hold it up the entire time and you go day after day after day and you're just holding that glass of water, you're going to have some aches and pains. You're going to have some hurts. So I do try and take my occasional time away, even if it's just a day where you kind of turn off Telegram, turn off everything, and decompress.
Well, there's a limit with conspiracies too, that, like, you can kind of feel when it's starting to get unhealthy. And for me, that's exactly where I kind of came to once the lockdowns kind of calmed down, and I started noticing like all like the people that are like addicted to the conspiracies and the people that follow it, they just kind of started hopping on baby truth stuff, like, you know, blue roofs. And it kind of bummed, you know what I mean? And I was like, oh man. And trust me, I love this stuff, but like it's not healthy too much. And I I love what you do, because you don't seem like you seem like a normal dude, who's not like pushing fear porn as much. Like you always push like positive stuff and remind people like to kind of just, hey, we've gone a little past, like take a breath. Not everything's a conspiracy.
Don't go full RV. Right.
Don't go full RV. Yeah. And I've noticed also with like engaging with the people that I, like that, I invite, or the people that find me, like some people, I mean, I love all everybody in the chat's awesome. Some people seem a little addicted to the fear porn. And a part of me is like, hey, I hope I'm not like, advocating, or I'm not like making it worse for people. I like to kind of like be like, the world's flat. That's amazing. Like it may have taken like an addiction to fear porn to get here, or addiction to conspiracies to get here, but it doesn't mean we have to like revel in it. And it doesn't mean it has to feel like that's our home base. And when you talk about stuff like the water, like the mega home water filter, like that changed my life when you advocated for that. I use that every day. And like just things that matter, like walking. A lot of your stuff that you do that is really mainstream and healthy and normal is some of my favorite stuff that you do.
I try to learn from mistakes, right? I mean, that's what I think life should be about, is if you do something and it doesn't work out or doesn't go your way, then there's probably a way to do it better the next time. I see a lot of people who just keep bouncing their head against the wall and it's the same result, and they don't really change much. So I do try and change it up. So, things like health and things like that. I just think it's important to, look at the way you've handled certain situations. I mean, I think it's also a big part of me staying sane through all this is having a wife, because it kind of, evens you out. If you start going too crazy, she'll kind of pull you back. You start to kind of lose your mind a little bit. So, I mean, that's helpful. You met Mavi. He's awesome. You met him in Vegas, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it was on Sunday. So he's also, really kind of balanced me and bring me back. Having an older son who's now 25, believe it or not. Yeah, I know. I'm the idiot with the putting 21 years or 22 years between my children. Smart, but no, it's a blessing, and he's been a ball full of fun. But no, just learning from your mistakes. If you start falling for things, I mean, right now I think the scariest thing on the horizon, if you will, is all the fake videos being done on TikTok and everything else. It's gotten like really bad, to the point where I can't tell now if it's truthers trying to just make money, or if it's people trying to get clicks, or if it's actually controlled opposition, basically like the Globers trying to put out lies because it's just, people don't check anything. People just share things, and before you know it's been seen by 30,000 people, and then that becomes the truth to them. And it's hard.
And also like the way TikTok works and a lot of these shorts is, and I recognize this, is that you have to put out like 2 or 3 a day for TikTok to even recognize that you're taking it serious. So people are just, they don't really give a shit about the quality of the content anymore, because that's not like, like I like to spend a month on a video and like make something good, but like that's one post.
Yeah.
And they're doing, and TikTok is like, well, if you're not going to post 3 bullshit things a day, then we don't want you here. And if you want to talk to the younger generation, you have to do it. And I'm learning how to do that. And you're right. There is so much just like people just acting like they know everything on TikTok, saying these giant truths as if a 30-second clip is enough for people to grasp it. And it's a whole nother world. And it seems like it doesn't matter what is true anymore. It's I don't know. It's almost like a part of me kind of thinks that everybody is so depressed that like we're just constantly looking for outside shit to focus on and becoming addicted to like the problem's out there. The problem is out there and it's not inside. It's not
I
in
think that's
me.
the media pushes that. Everybody pushes that you're
Yeah.
everything's outside of you. The answers are outside of you. The answers to your health are outside of you. The answers to your mental health are outside. Everything is look somewhere, go pay someone, do something, rather
Right.
than focus on yourself. And you can fix all issues that way. But people don't see that. And so you're right. You might be right. It might be just people kind of wandering around lost. And then I think people get a huge validation from views on social media. Whether it's from a fake thing or I don't know if you saw like what did I see recently? How about the face next to the moon? Have you seen?
I didn't see that.
No, there's some video where guy goes outside and shows. And what's funny is that he starts the video by saying, "Look at, I'm showing you. I have my camera right here, and he's in the mirror. I got my camera. I'm not going to cut my film." He starts walking through the house, and then like one time he turns past a white wall, and I'm like, "This is ridiculous." I mean, do people not realize how easy it is to cut a video like that? Like, and then he goes outside and shoots up at the moon, and there's like a big old face next to it. And he's like,
"Oh, okay." So yeah, right in that split second,
it'd be
it's
easy
not
to do.
hard.
No, it's not hard to do. So again, I'm not even saying that that's when he cut it, but I'm just saying that there's like so many ways. And for someone to say, like, "Oh, here, watch me do this," it doesn't mean anything. Like people fall for the easiest nonsense. I mean, I could do that. Now, I just don't lie to people, so you're not going to catch me doing that. But if I wanted to, it'd be very easy to pull off a deception. You could do stuff even during a live video that would get everybody convinced that it was real, even though it's completely fake. Let's say
this could be a pre-recorded video, and then I just
absolutely
upload and say it's live.
Right. So then what you could do is you could tell me right now you're going to flip a coin 10 times, and I'm going to guess it right every time, and I'll win $1 million. And then we do guess it right, but that's because it's already done. You already flipped the coin, and I'm just here live, and you're here as a recording. Again, people don't realize I'm on OBS. I could put up a recording of myself right now. I could put up a recording of myself from yesterday that recorded, and you're just talking to me yesterday. Anyway, it's just easy to do, and I don't think people realize that. And then you have the Globers who say like, "Oh, there's no edits in this 9 ISS film, and therefore there's no cuts, and therefore it's real." It's like, are you a freaking idiot? Like that music video, "Okay Go," you know that one where they're in the airplane doing the parabolic flights. Yeah, well, I mean, there's no cuts in that either. So what are you saying, that the entire time they were floating around in it? No, it was done in multiple takes over and over and over again. And I forgot how many times they said they did it, like 15 or something. And then you edit it all together. It's part of video editing. People know how to do that. And these guys act like it's impossible. Like, oh no, there's no cuts here. So
I know, and nowadays it's like even more. I mean, we thought that this was something only Hollywood can do. There was a video, like there was a Mandela video that my friend was like, he thought was real, where it like the Bernstein Bears like changed when he walked back into the room. Have you ever seen that?
No, but I'm sure that's not real.
And it looks like it. I mean, they did a really good job. I'll see if I can find this. They did a really good job making it look real, but like even like even Stavely like called it out. It was like, no, this is bullshit. But like but I was really like impressed with how well they were able to make this look convincing. Let me see if I can find this. Like, I'm surprised you haven't seen this.
I maybe see it, but I and then there's another one with a portal. You seen the guy makes a portal on his bed or something?
Yeah, and that's another thing. It's the same channel that did that. So I'm thinking what are the odds that this let me see. But, yeah, I know. But like this is okay. I'm just gonna put this up real quick because this I thought this was really well done, and I could totally see how it would be kind of convincing to people. Let's see.
Oops, sorry. There you go. Oops. What's going on here? No. Sorry.
Is that your sound?
Yeah, it's on TikTok. I just don't have to mute it. There we go.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
I got it a long time ago.
So this guy's saying,
go back here and see.
He's going.
I did this.
He's talking about some bullshit, but like basically, he has this book.
It's just an old with this name, Berenstain Bears.
Okay.
So I had this book. Again, it's my nephew's, but I had this book in my closet from when they came over. I wanted to give it back to them. I planned on going out there to see them, and I dug it out, and I noticed that the Berenstain had said Berenstain in that room, but I come out here into just the normal other part of the house, and it says this. So just so you know I'm not crazy, I'm going to show you as I pass through this doorway what happens, and it's fucking weird. All right, it happens when it gets in the room. See it? And then back out here, normal. Yeah. What the fuck? Uh-huh. Yeah. And then normal.
So
Does the bottom change too? I can't see the bottom.
Yeah, the bottom changes as well.
Yeah, man. I don't even like to be in this room anymore.
And it's a really good edit.
You look at that. That shit is insane.
And then it goes to A.
See, so this is why I'm really in the opinion now that we can't believe any video anymore.
Look at that. I mean, like, yeah, and this was made by the same guy that, you know, that was like, oh, I got a portal in my room as well. And it's so like, oh, this guy's good at editing. But still, like, a lot of people thought that was proof of the Mandela effect. And it's like, because it looks really good, sure. But
here, I'll show you the face in the moon here if I can get 1 second.
Oh, yeah, please do.
Share. I understand. Let's proceed. What do you have to do? Also share audio. Yes, but how do you find it here? This one, face by moon. Okay, so do you see that? It's on screen.
All right, let me see. Let me show it.
Let me know if you can see it.
I can see.
Okay.
Screen here, yeah.
Okay, here we go.
28, 29th, 28th, 29th, I have got me a better quality camera
this tab.
to catch this thing in the sky. And holy moly, I am scared. I'm scared, but I'm not going to trip because I've been catching this thing for a while now. It's very ominous. There he is. There he is. There he is. There he is. It's a huge face looking right down on us. Let me see if I can zoom in a little bit brighter. There he is.
So this gets crazy because there's actually
There's
like
the
a
moon.
couple other
Oh, I
people
lost
that
it. There
have
it is.
supposedly filmed it, and they filmed from different angles. So like you see a different side of the face. Yeah, it's really kind of creepy. But
God damn, that's so convincing. Then
it's
See,
very
like
convincing.
I have to like completely reshake my mind into like, but
there's like people who, and then there's new people with faces, and let's see this one.
This man filmed a face by the moon and got it all on camera.
It is.
So see, that just spreads like crazy.
29th, 28th, 29th, I have got me a better quality camera to catch this thing in the sky. And holy moly, I am.
Oh boy. And they just, I'm trying to see if it's got the one of the other, the guy who comes back, he does it again and says, you know, shows the camera in the mirror. I'm walking, but I don't see it on here. So anyway, I mean, again, it's up to people to decide what they believe, but I just don't think it's a safe environment to really trust video anymore, because you can, I mean, think about AI, what you can do with AI in minutes.
No, I know. I've been learning all about that. I mean,
it's crazy.
You can deep fake people. I also started looking into like lip syncing stuff this week because of trying to figure. Showed you that, yeah, and it's just I'm thinking, well, if I can take people's voices and I can change people's, I can make people say anything and I can make them do anything,
right? My $25,000 pyramid, right? I did that video with, I took Dick Clark's voice and was able to easily take that, and it looks like he's really saying, because I went by off the words that, you know, I went by his mannerisms and everything. So he like takes out a piece of thing. I said, you know, here's a ticket to an ass kicking from me, Dick Clark, to NASA. And it went, I mean, it's easy to do. Didn't take very long. So I just know how easy it would be for somebody, especially somebody who's professional, to make anything look real. You know,
right.
And to make anyone say anything. So I just think this whole, let me see the video, I want to debunk it myself, I want to see, is a little bit now, I think you're fooling yourself, to be honest with you.
Yeah, there was a time when I remember like Eddie Bravo said, you know, I would believe it if there was like a GoPro from the ground to the ISS. And that seemed like a reasonable thing at the time.
Right.
Yeah. At the time, I would have been like, oh, you're right. It would be not. But now I'm like,
Or have you heard the one like, show us the cruise ship upside down on the ball? It's like, don't say that. They can turn their camera upside down. So
right, I know exactly.
And then it's like, here's the cruise ship upside down. It's like, oh no, okay, never mind.
Well, on a separate subject, we're going to be filming some stuff next week to prove some stuff. Is that right?
It is true, but here's the point of that: is that the reason I'm going is because I need to see it. Right. So that's
why I'm going too.
Yeah. So I mean, rather than somebody else showing me where it could be manipulated, I want to see it for myself. I do expect to see it, and then I have reasons why we wouldn't. And if those are the reasons, then we can take it or leave it. But I mean, for me, it's just one of those things where the 4-mile test was the original time that I really was captivated by. And I know that's a short test, but my wife and I had a board, and we were shining a laser at the board, literally 4 to 6 inches off of the ground, right next to the water. And the guy on the other side of the shore, 4 miles away, picked up that light being hit on the board. And that was just huge for us. And then now to find out that the waves should have blocked, I mean, like, you're actually seeing flatness all the way across. There's just no other way to do it unless you want to believe in all these bendy lights lifting things up, and it just gets crazy to me. So yeah, we'll see what happens. It's one of those observations. If you don't know, we're going down to San Diego. We're going to start down there on the 15th, and then 16th and 17th we'll also be watching the sunset down there. And we're not really sure where we'll be yet, 100%. And we don't really want to give those locations anyway right away, because I don't trust the powers that should not be to, who knows, go out there and chem spray or something. So I don't want to.
Well, I texted Laurie last night because he was saying that him and Dave were doing the vinegar thing.
Right.
And I asked him, did it work? And I got a text from him back this morning because I texted him pretty late, and he's on the East Coast. And he said, weirdly, yes. I'll have to like run through how that happened. And
yeah, it worked for me too. And I don't know if that's and it worked for CMG, Conspiracy Music Guru. So I'm not sure. I did tell Dave Weiss, because I said, well, a true test would be, now what we do is go out there on another day where there's chemtrails, and then say, okay, I'm going to pretend like I did it. So now let's say I did it, and then come back an hour later or 2 later and see if you would have said, oh, it did work. Because if it works without it, then you're just, you're fooling yourself.
That's a good point.
So I think that's what we failed to do. Reasoning. We failed to like actually do like what would really be a scientific test. So it's up to you.
I figured there would have to be like an actual like visible circle above like exactly where you are to be like,
there was for, it almost looked like a hole in the sky. So for me,
really,
right. But we'll try it again and see. And we did it out on the barbecue with, I just put some briquettes in there, lit it up, put a pot out there, and then we just kept filling it with vinegar as it ran throughout maybe an hour or two. And then we went outside a little bit after that, and it looked like a hole in the sky. But also, could it have been that it just happened to be like that? And any other day we wouldn't have noticed.
I mean, it kind of makes sense. Vinegar is like a neutralizer, I know.
That's why it kind of makes sense to me. I mean, if there is something up there that you're just kind of breaking it up, I could see it happening. I mean, it's going to be,
if there's some, like, if it's something's like very like acid or alkaline up there, like, like I've done stuff in the labs where, I've made stuff, and and you got to keep distilled white vinegar around in case of a spill, and so yeah, no, I mean, it's definitely powerful stuff, and if there is something up there that would be dangerous to you, it would be something kind of in like the caustic soda like level of pH. That would be really horrible for us, like lye or something like that.
I'm not sure what it is. I don't know if it's to get the earth to heat up a little bit, or if it's to have it cool down a little bit. I don't know what they're doing, but they've been modifying the weather for a long time, and that's proven. So I mean, what exactly are the reasons? Do they plan on incinerating the world at some point? I don't really know. Not really sure.
I just don't understand, like, who has the balls to say that they're the ones they get to do that? Like, who has enough power to be like, we're the one that's going to control the weather? Like, and there's no opposing group that's like, no, we're going to, we're going to control. Like, how is there not a hierarchy or like, it's
well, remember we were talking about like these 3 branches of government, and they would all keep each other in check. And there's like they never talked to us about, well, what if all 3 become corrupt? They'd be like, oh, but the one of them will protect from the other. But what if all 3 of them are corrupt? well, then you're in trouble. Then you're in big trouble because there's no more watchdog. There is no more. And so I always tell the story, but my mom's ex-husband, whatever I don't know what you call widower. I don't know what you would call him. My mom's former husband. One time we were sitting at dinner and he was asking me, he's like, so explain to me this 9/11 thing. I don't get it. I don't understand. He said, I'm an engineer. There's no way that this could go without. And I was trying to give him different ideas about it. And I said, what about the cameras? There's supposed to be 27 cameras that line the front of that building. Why have we never seen them? He's like, oh, maybe they're keeping them for certain, national security. I'm like, no, they just don't exist. They would show the video of the plane hitting if it had it. And so he eventually was like, Jeran, here's the thing that you don't understand. He says, you want to know what keeps us differently or makes us different than Russia and makes us different than China and these communist countries? I'm like, go ahead. He's like, we have an independent media. And he's like, the independent media. I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, and so what would happen? I said, what would happen if the media was ever compromised? He said, that'd be the end of the United States as we know it. So he kind of spelled it out for him. Like, well, I'm saying that's already happened. That's my point, and because that has happened. We know that that's happened. And so once the media is gone, now you have nobody who's looking into these things. You have to have media to expose corruption. If you have them in the pockets of the politicians, you are literally swimming in corruption and being fed corrupt propaganda. And another thing I've learned is that when I was a store manager at Long's, because I was working so much and barely had any off time to spend time with my son, and that you have to get some sort of news because you're going through the day and meeting people that have that on their mind. So you listen to the news on your way to work, and literally whatever they say in that half hour becomes your belief system. It's not even something you have a choice of. It's because you have to got to believe something about certain events. And so you start, adopting this mentality. Just so if somebody comes into my office and says, hey, did you hear about this? I can say, yeah, here's my opinion on that. Right. And I think that's what they know. I don't know if I want to give a percentage. 80% of the country has to deal with, which is what they work so much that they don't have time to dig into things, to look into things. And so they just believe whatever the talking box says. Now, I think COVID hurt them. A ton, because I don't know how they didn't expect it, but they should have thought to themselves, like, oh, these people are all going to have time at home. If we send them home from their jobs, they're going to be at home with the internet, and they're going to be able to look things up. And so I think that hurt them, because think about the amount of people who were pro-vax who now have changed, whereas how many people went from the other side to pro-vax would be zero. So they really didn't do themselves any favors other than locking everybody down and probably being able to do it again. So
even during that, that's the difference between Flat Earth though and all the other ones is, I was watching that Dean Odell, Greg Locke debate, and he was saying hey, we get it, man. We understand all this stuff. We understand these conspiracies. We just can't get on Flat Earth. And I'm like, that's the difference. Right. And that's why Flat Earth is different. And that's why I like to stick to Flat Earth, because it's like now any fucking, there was a while where if you just were a Trump supporter, you got it. And now it's become, it went from taboo to okay. It solved itself in the in the public realm pretty quickly. Flat Earth is the only one where it's the rubber meets the road. If you're willing to be 100%. And that's why I feel like it's so important to have people like you and a community of people that are putting their names on it and allowing and helping people feel comfortable with it, because for some reason Flat Earth is the only one, like you said, it's so compromising to your credibility, to your stability, to your job, and it doesn't seem like it's the kind of thing that the whole world is going to get on board with as fast as, say, recognizing that the jabs were
no, but I think it's kind of our own fault, to be honest with you. How do I word this best without pissing people off? So let's say that there's a baseball team and their star player had to beg for money because he wasn't making enough money to live. That would tell you that your baseball team's on the way out, right? It means that your team is struggling so bad that their star player. So the other night I'm listening to Austin Whitsitt have to do a GoFundMe to get a trip to go see Tinfoil Hat, right? And it hit me I'm like, the fact that Austin isn't completely funded by us tells me that we're not big leagues, and we'll never be, because until we have the mindset that, okay, people like Austin that's doing the work that he's doing shouldn't have to be on his stream asking for money to fly to do Tinfoil Hat Podcast. There is nobody in any other sector that has to do that, because whoever it is taken care of enough. And if we're not smart enough to do that, then I don't know what to say. You know, that somebody like Austin shouldn't have to be worrying about money right now. It's just shouldn't have to be doing it. And again, if people think that he should, then just recognize that we'll always be behind the 8 ball. We'll always be struggling because again, there's no other, I've never seen anything else like that, where there's like the star player that, you know, because I would say I want Austin. If somebody said, you know, who would you want more than anybody on some podcast? I would say Austin. And so to see him have to worry about, you know, donate here on Ko-Fi and do this. And I mean, then they tell us that there's, and the reason I say that is because they say there's 11 million flat earthers in Brazil. Okay, let's just take that as an example.
Right.
If those 11 million people, if they can't give $1 a year, which would be $11 million a year, think of what you could do with $11 million. Now you can fund Austin. Now you can send people on interview trips or on just, you know, investigations or things like that. We don't have anything like that. So it's like, and I don't think we ever could organize it, because people would think whoever's organizing it is a shill and they're doing it for money. And I'm certainly not going to put my hands on that, because I'll get called every name in the book. So you just got this problem where everybody doesn't trust each other, and it creates a all fend for yourself kind of deal. And again, to me, that's just one of the problems. I don't know if we can get around that.
I think I have an idea. Like one thing I think the community really misses is, you know, like what I think what it is everybody's doing stuff so independently. And
true.
I think if you know, like the thing I see the most is, where is the Baby Truther show, like, or like GNN? Like, I think there was a time during the lockdown, like we were doing things, and it was like we were doing it out of love. Like there was that was the highest production of flat Earth content, I think, on the web when you were doing all that stuff. You had like the great intro. Every week was just fire, great guests, and it was something that I feel like people like. I feel like there needs to be like a high production like group, like you know, having writers, having something where there's like enough people, like, you know, making something that's different than just what one person can do on a stream. Like, say there was a weekly show that was like honestly on par with, say, SNL, like as far as the comedy writing goes and what can be put into it. I think something like that.
So how many flat earthers do you think there are in the US? For example, let's give me a number of these people would say that they're at least 90% sure the earth is flat.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I would say 100,000 maybe in the US.
Out of 300 million?
Yeah. Well, at least that would admit it.
I would say it's probably, I don't know. I would have to. I mean, I would love to say it's 1%, but I mean, many people would say it's way more than that. And this is what I want people to look at. Is not. Let's say it is just 1%. Okay, let's say, and which I think it would be low myself, but that's 3 million people. So, and I guess let's say we're talking about adults only. So maybe 200 million in the United States, and 200 million would be 2 million. Regardless, if those 2 million people can't give $1 each a year to some sort of fund that then becomes the fund that pays out Austin. Now, again, somebody's going to have to be in charge of that fund, and you're going to have to get over the fact that everybody, oh, this person's a shill. He's giving it to the wrong person. It's controlled opposition. That's the thing, is that we're also cutthroat, going after each other. And I think it's actually brilliant on the elite's position, where they knew that if they lie to everybody, then as soon as people get wind of it and start talking about them lying, well, then the people saying those things would then be doubted as well. And then if you don't get everything 100% right, then people doubt you. And then your name gets thrashed. And then you just get a bunch of one-offs, basically. This person doing a show, this person doing a show, and nobody ever gets more than 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 views. And we kind of end up here. So I love what Dave Weiss is doing. Dave Weiss is doing a good job of spreading the word. Austin wants to do a good job of spreading the word. But I do think that ultimately, if there is a certain amount of flat earthers in the country, to me, it's like, why can't we get each of them to give $1 a year? I mean, that's nothing. I mean, nobody should ever even complain, bat an eye, but we can't even do that. And so that to me is a sore spot, and I don't know how to fix it. I don't think I'm the one to rally the troops and fix it.
Well, I maybe just like donating money isn't like the best plan. I mean, that's that's in a beautiful, perfect world where that me and you like wish, but like what Dave did was he created a product as opposed to hey, it's just support. And I think like our integrity, like you have to have a lot of integrity to do to get to this far into the truth movement, which you have and which Austin has. And if it hurts our soul to like have to kind of like take it to that level, because somehow something got taught inside of us that as soon as like money gets involved, all of a sudden it becomes bullshit. And there is that fine line. So like what Dave did is he created a product where he's not necessarily saying, hey, support me for making flat earth stuff. He found a way to like make a tool so now you don't have to do that. And I think flat earth, like it's just so new, something will come along. Now we're not homeless, and somehow I've noticed that on this journey of truth, like somehow, some way, when I'm guided by my inner sense of truth, like oddly, like the universe is providing, not a lot, but enough. And somehow,
like when we had that all that pirate chain that made us rich.
Yeah, like that.
No, I'm gonna hold on to it. Here you go. Kick in the pants.
Now's a good time to buy it.
I'm not gonna say that. Can we go look at our predictions that we made 3 years ago?
I don't want to do that. I'm like, it's gonna. I know we're so wrong, but I mean, if there was like another like return to the alts, and we started seeing a lot of energy to the altcoins, and pirates started going up, I think it probably would get a lot. It would probably pump a lot, because there was a lot. That was a huge pump before. But unfortunately, it has gone below a Fibonacci line that isn't very good. It doesn't have a very good.
I think people don't see the importance of privacy yet, and so maybe that will come one day, and maybe it won't. Like the whole trucker convoy in Canada, I thought would expose that a little bit, because they were able to shut down people's accounts and things, even Bitcoin, right? Because Bitcoin is connected to Coinbase, and you've put your name to it, which is again not even what Satoshi ever suggested. There was nobody who ever said, let's have exchanges where people exchange cash for coin. That's not the point of crypto. So the banking has done a good job of connecting themselves to it, and now our names are all attached to it. So it's I don't know if people don't understand privacy yet. Maybe they eventually will. And so I'm holding on to my pirate. I'm not somebody who sold out like everybody else. Still got it. Still worth basically nothing. But what is it, 20 cents a coin or something now?
I think it's like 16 cents.
Boy, it's doing well.
Like that.
Doing well. And it was worth $16 at some time. So
right, yeah. I cashed out a little bit, but like that helps me through the pandemic a lot.
Right.
But then I looked into like, okay, obviously smart contracts are where the future is. So I looked into that, and then I just saw. I don't even think I can't even blame the elites. I think I just blame the greed of men. Like. Now I have a little less, I don't know, like crypto doesn't like excite me anymore, because it seems like what I loved about it like is just gone. Like I honestly, like I thought it like,
it all comes down to the greed of men. Like you said, it's just now you've got all these channels that they're pushing coins that they own, and any coin that they don't own is a shit coin. But what they're all trying to do is just run the price up so that they can sell. Which, of course, if you're buying on the way up and then if somebody sells, that's when the bottom drops out and you end up with something worth nothing. So I think it's the greed of men. I think that's what all these shit coins are about. I think it's why Bitcoin hasn't gone as high as I thought it would, because basically everybody who was sitting let's say the price was around 50,000 or so, just kind of sitting there. I think a lot of people see these shit coins and their value is like 0.000003, and they look at that and they realize that if you just move that up 3 decimal places, that all of a sudden you have something that would 10,000x. So they start thinking, if I put $1 in, that's $10,000 if it goes there. If I put in $100, well, of course, as soon as you put in that money, the people who originally had the coin sell out, and it's worth 0, and you're stuck at 0. So it's like, I think everybody is trapped by greed. It's why everybody who's lost any money has lost it. Everybody who's lost it was trying to do some sort of deal. Somebody said they would give me a Bitcoin, I'll give you 2, or whatever. It's always this greed thing, and then people end up getting burned for it. I don't know if I told you, but somebody gave away their seed words or an email. This nun called me I forgot where she lived, up in near Sacramento, and she had said, "Hey, I'm up here at a convent, and we found all this Bitcoin mining equipment in the basement." And she goes, "It's still running. We don't know what it's doing." I'm like, "What?" And she's like, "Yeah, we used to have a carekeeper or whatever that would take care of this, and he handled it, and he's gone now." And it's like, "Oh, where'd he go?" And she goes, "Oh, he passed away." I'm like, "Okay, I'll come look at it. I'm interested to see." So I went out there, and sure enough, there was a mining machine running, but it was very, very old compared to current stuff. So it wasn't actually earning any Bitcoin. But I was looking through it, and I found like 16 Bitcoin. So I was like,
Really?
yeah. So I was like, you actually have a whole bunch of money here. So she's like, "Okay, well, I have a vow of chastity. I can't, not chastity, a vow of poverty. Is that what it is? Whatever the vow is, where you can't have money. She can't even have an account in her name." So she said, "Well, we'll keep it for the church, and when we need it, we'll just use it." And so there was a couple times she called me, "So we need it. Can we cash out a half Bitcoin? I need to do this." And sure. So I helped her out with everything she needed. And then, one day she calls me and she goes, "Hey, can you, I think there's a problem. Well, I'm not sure if it has anything to do with me emailing my seed words to Exodus." Or I'm like, "Oh, wait, hold on. What?" She said,
"No."
She said, "Oh, I got this email from Exodus saying that they were going to do a reset the day after, and that they needed my seed words to keep my account on." I'm like, "When did you do this?" She goes, "Just about 10 minutes ago." I'm like, "Give me your seed words. Give them now." She goes, "Oh, I thought I'm not supposed." Like, "No, give them to me if you gave them away in an email, because I need to go and secure." Sure enough, I went on, it was gone. And that at the time was about $267,000, and now it's about double that. So it's about $500,000 that she lost. And it just hit me like, okay, we're in trouble, because this has got to be happening much more than people know. And this is why scam artists exist, because think of the Indian scammers that got her on that. They've now set themselves up for 10 years, 20 years. Like that's how long you funded their operation for. So it's kind of disheartening. I'm not sure if people are fully ready for being in control of your own money, because you're actually in control of your money. And as bad as the banking system is in this world, and I agree that it's terrible, at least nobody's really ever had that happen. You're going to have a hell of a hard time losing.
You have somebody you can call on the phone and yell at until somehow like you get like justice to be done.
I mean, think about that. How is somebody going to lose 200? I think that if I heard a stat right, and I don't know if this is true, but somebody said that there's nobody in the United States that's ever lost money in a bank ever, because it's FDIC insured, and there's nobody who's ever lost money. Not for, if somebody scams you, or somebody uses your credit card, or somebody uses your debit card or whatever, you cannot be held responsible. That's against the law. So it's like, well, they screw you in every other way, right? We know that. Same thing with like credit cards. The reason credit cards, if you just call and say, "I didn't like this item," they'll give you a credit back. Well, it's because they charge everybody else 35% interest, so they can afford to do that, right? But
and us complaining is what they're afraid of, and their credibility. So they just try to keep us happy, and like they make money anyway. I mean, I even got like a small claims in the mail because my Wells Fargo account like 10 years ago, they did a bunch of like overdraft fees that later on got proven to be illegal. And so, and so eventually like it all kind of comes around, and it's true. Like it's safer. And
that's the thing. And they make it that way. They have to be attractive, right? They have to be attractive so they can say like, you won't lose money here. But I do say, I want to have a serious talk with somebody if they've got 250,000 and they're like, "I want to put this all in crypto." It's like, okay, just realize that if it's in a bank, I can at least tell you now you're going to lose value on it. It's going to, your dollar that's worth how much today is going to be worth less than that in 3 years and 5 years and 10 years. But at least you're not going to lose it all. Is basically the and with crypto, you're taking that chance. It is you are in control. There is nobody else. If you give away your seed words, it's like giving somebody the key to your safety deposit box and then being surprised when it's gone. It's going to happen. So that kind of worries me a little bit with crypto. So I'm a little bit more careful when I talk to people, and just, and it's like, even with the girl with the mining machines is, I was like afraid. I was like, don't tell me she's going to try and say this is my fault. Cause I repeatedly told her and over again, if anybody asks for your seed words, you don't give them to them. Nobody, there's nobody will ever ask for them. You'll never have to type them into a website. And her whole excuse was, but it was Exodus who emailed me. And I was like, that'd be impossible for them to have my email address. I'm like, listen, I said, remember when we went to Exodus and downloaded your wallet? They didn't get your email address. So I said, they don't have your email address. So she's like, but how did they email me? I'm like, because they emailed everybody. They just email everybody. And then they hope that one person sees it and does what you did, which is think, oh, I have an Exodus account. Oh, how did they get my email address? Oh, okay. It's a sad thing, but I tell these stories so it doesn't happen to anybody else. So if you ever see an email,
I feel bad for the boomers and like my neighbor Alice, like she got scammed just because she still thinks that like you need to have like a like a like like a security system on her computer, like a McAfee kind of a thing.
Right.
And you don't really need that anymore. They just don't. But she was getting scammed, and she gave away all like she let them kind of control her computer, and it just made it worse. And I'm just like,
so
man,
sad.
and it's just so easy for people who are not tech savvy.
Well,
to
it's so
do
easy for
that.
people that aren't moral. I mean, if I wasn't moral, if I didn't care about that, it'd be very easy to make money. The hard part in this world is to be moral, to do what's right, and to still maintain your head above water. That's a difficult task. I don't really know how most people do it. I think most people end up doing dishonest things. I mean, I don't know about you. There's like all these ads on Facebook and on Instagram, and they're like all fake products. It's all just meant to steal money from you. That's what everybody's out to do. Everybody's out to steal money from you somehow, some way. So that sucks. I mean, it sucks,
'cause that's the default when I assume. I have to you have to convince me it's not a scam like a lot for me to even consider something. And that's always been the case and that's why I think it's funny when people like think that they have like people who watch the news and they think that they like are informed because they're getting like the easiest force fed. It's like I know the news because this is what this
I
is
listened
the
to Lester
pop-up that
Holt.
came up.
I listened to Lester Holt for 15 minutes, so I know the truth.
Yeah, it's like, don't you think that like the real good deals are not the ones that are like begging you to take? It's the ones you got to take a little time to find out. So it's like I always think that like people that say that they're informed because they watch the mainstream. That's like saying I get the best deals on products because I click on pop-ups.
Right.
Like and yeah, no, it sucks. We live in a world and but like the things that's I don't know. Like once they started going down this rabbit hole and I became more and more aware of that, I guess that's just kind of became a little obsession. It's just like is uncovering the lies because the more you kind of see these deceptions, the more I don't know, the more reality feels whole or something. I can't explain it, but the whole point of the reason why I'm even at this stage.
It makes more sense to me. The world makes more sense the more I dig into it. And I know that sounds weird because it's almost the opposite of what I hear from other people, but I keep seeing and it looks like it is a literal battle of good and evil in the fact that there's some people out there that really care about doing what's right and doing what's good for the world and good for each other. And then there's the people out there that do what's good for themselves and don't really care about that. And that's why I think that the flat earth is important because it does. I think that atheism, which came from, the natural idea of science and that we're here on accident, and the Big Bang and all that, that I think that does, whether people realize it or not, lead them to a life where you do not care about the morality of it, right? Because it's more about not getting caught. Well, if I can do this and not get caught, then I'm just going to do it because what difference, there is no, I'm not going to be judged for my actions here or whatever. So I think that's the problem. And that's what I think that flat earth could help bring back. I used to think that at least, but now there's flat earthers that become flat earthers and they're still wicked, evil people and do wicked, evil things. So it doesn't really help.
That's not something that flat earth can just all encompassingly do. It did for you. I believe it did for me.
It did for many people at the beginning, to be honest. I saw that at least at the beginning, back in 2000.
Yeah, but I mean, the more flat earthers that become, the more types of people that are going to be hopping on board, and eventually, you can't really just say all flat earthers are this or that because if there really are like 11 million in South America, if it becomes more and more of a thing where it's like 10% of the population, 20%, it's just going to be men, and not every flat earther is moral, and also like not every flat earther I think has to have the prerequisite of going through the steps of JFK to 9/11 to Sandy, like there has to be a way now where people can bypass that scary road to get to it as well. Because every flat earther I know is like, well, how'd you become one? Well, first I looked into this, and then I looked into this, and then I looked into this. Then I realized it was all bullshit, and then I got off the fluoride, and then it's almost like, is there anybody who just didn't like conspiracies and became a flat earther? Is it possible? I think now after the pandemic, maybe.
Right.
And I'd like to think that's possible. That way, like, like people that have that, like, not ignorance, but like innocence that you kind of that people that we all had before we kind of looked into stuff. Like, it's ignorant, yeah, but to believe everything is good and everything's working for you and become a flat earther, that's where I hope it goes.
Yeah, I hope that I just looked up. I was trying to see what the latest poll shows, but polls are wrong because they only do a small amount of people.
Oh, they're all lies.
Well, they did 8,215 people, which again, it's a decent sample size, but basically it came back that like 84% said they always believed the world was round. So the rest would be people who thought it was round but now are skeptical. People who thought it was people who thought it was flat but now recently I'm skeptical, have doubts. No, so it'd be 5 + 2 is 7. So 7% is what it says would be people who always believe that the Earth is flat or believe fully that it's flat, and people who are skeptical of the globe. It basically has 7%. So again, 7% is still a huge number. If
that's
true,
that's like 3 times more than the amount of Jewish people in the world.
Right.
Which is interesting because like flat earth content, like the only thing that gets pushed is mockery of it.
Right.
And it's the opposite for a smaller minority, which I find fascinating. Like at a certain point, don't flat earthers have a right? I mean, we should have like a class action suit against YouTube. Be like, hey, this is discrimination. There's enough of us where you can't do this.
Well, and I've heard that there's a number, like a tipping point, and I've heard either 10% or 20%. But there's some like stats or some studies that have been done that if you get to that 10 or 20% number, that then the other 80% come over. That you need to have like, it's not a matter of you need to convince every one of them. It's that once a certain amount of people believe it, the rest just go to it. So maybe we're getting closer to that number, and that's a good thing. But like I said, I to think of the things that Witsit could be doing on his stream rather than telling us how much he needs to get to the event and how much it's going to cost him for plane flights and how much it's going to cost for rental car. Like, people should just know that that's just what goes on with having a trip. And do we want him on Tinfoil Hat? Absolutely. Do we, that's a podcast that gets a lot of views. Is he the best one to speak to that crowd? Yeah, obviously. So to me, it's just, and maybe it's a personal problem that I have, that I can't fathom how we're a decent baseball team or that we have any chance of ever competing if our star player can't afford to live, basically.
Well, this is very much like the music industry. And there's a reason why the most brilliant musicians back in the day needed, a record label and a bunch of producers and investors. Correct. Because musicians aren't good at all that shit,
right?
Like, and you know what I mean? And so like they see talent and they invest into it,
right?
And
then they do the marketing, they do the commercializing, they do the trademarking, they do and that's the problem that we don't have, is we don't have anybody who's doing any of that. So you've got us, who is in charge of our own marketing, our own advertisements, our own deals, our own clubs, our own merchandise, our own. So it's, and then what happens when you have to touch all things is that you don't do anything 100%. Everything gets done 70%, and it all's kind of crappily thrown together. And maybe that's seen by the outside world. So I don't know. I don't know how we get around that point. And you're right, Dave.
I think it'll happen with time. It all happens with time, man. It's going to happen. I think like the more and more, like big wigs, like there's going to be eventually somebody who's just as pissed off as we are about this lie, who happens to be sitting on a bunch of crypto winnings or something, and have some maybe like silent anonymous investors. I mean, I'd like to think that, because I don't know. I mean, you're absolutely right. Like I've come to terms with the fact that like I want to do this 24/7, but like it's not realistic. And so you have to have side gigs and think of outside the box ways. And honestly, like you talk about Witsit, and I think what he does is amazing. Personally, I would say to anybody listening right now, like, please support Jeran, because it blows my mind. It pisses me off that you're not like that. You don't have your pool. You should have had your pool by now.
Well, those are dreams and wishes, but it's more about like, let me give you an example. So what did you think of the NASA Man Can song?
I think it's brilliant.
Right. I thought it was good. I thought it was great. It was fun to write. It was fun to pass off to CMG. He comes back with it right away. And then I paid him $100 because, and he didn't expect that. He didn't ask for it or anything. It was and it's not a lot to me. It's nothing. It's just, here's $100 for doing that so quickly. And he was even shocked. Like, hey, you didn't have to do that, man. No, it's great. Here's $100. Then I said, what I'm going to do is at the end of the video, I'm going to put people, if they want to donate, can send to me and I made less than 100. And I don't know how much he made. At the time I last talked to him about it, it was definitely less than 100. It was significantly less. So, I mean, that basically means I lost money by doing that. In my time and my effort, that's not monetizable because I'm using somebody else's beat and using clips from the movie. So, I mean, I don't know if people care, but it's just to lose money at something that, and then go look at the comments. Every single, this is the best thing I've ever heard. This has brightened my day. This has made, doesn't translate, doesn't. So people should recognize when things like that start going away, there's a reason why. It's because nobody can afford to lose money every day to just entertain people and not get anywhere. And so I think, if you look at what CMG did with that and the time and effort and his expenditure and his equipment, he lost as well. So it kind of is weird to say like, oh, so we lost money on something that everybody loved. I'm not really sure there's many other areas in life that are like that.
Oh, no, the music industry is all of that.
Well, they make money though, don't they?
I mean, I'll tell you right now how many gigs are like, hey, are you willing to drive 2 hours, spend $80 on gas for a $50 gig and a dinner? Like, that's just how, because musicians don't do it for the money. And it's like, there's a love for it. And because that's just how it is. And like,
and my mom was a musician. I'm just trying to think back. I mean, she was always, at least she would get what she's worth. I mean, she would go play a gig and make a couple $100. But I mean, I don't know if she would have ever gone somewhere for $80 in gas and made 50. Maybe she didn't, maybe a couple times, but
then we got to think outside the box, because it used to, just like music industry. I think this is very applicable. Now you're not getting paid per sales like we used to in the music industry. It's just how it is. The only real money now is live gigs, and that's kind of why I started going online during the lockdowns, because I was getting paid at
Disneyland
between 40 and that's very far. I was getting paid close to 46,000 that year, and I finally figured out a way to make music
And how many days were you working? How many days were you doing?
Just weekends.
Oh, wow.
Just weekends, 3 shows a week, each day on a weekend. And yes, but during the week, I'd have to do a bunch of shit. I'd have to record stems. I'd have to meet with the production crew.
Right.
So it was a lot. It was just, but ultimately it was the live gigs and that's just how it turned into. So anyone in the music industry now, they know that if they want to make any money after all this, they have to set up a tour and then sell merch there and stuff like that. If you and Witsit did a month and a half tour and just going around the country doing meetups and sold tickets to that, that could be a good generating money, and that's very normal. People love to meet you guys in person.
That's the thing. It's just always a matter of funding it. This whole trip down south, just the 3 days, getting a room for 2 nights, is the most that we can possibly really afford right now. So it's to me, so this last month, the sun has been setting behind these islands every day from the Southern California. And it's just sad that we didn't have somebody out there the whole time, right? Somebody should be touring. You don't even have to go very far. You could stay in a motorhome and just tour with the sun and be getting it every day. And this way, if there is a day that it's exceptionally clear, we don't miss it. But guess what? It's probably been seen. The island's been seen from the shore probably 10, 15, 20 times already, but we've missed it because there's nobody who can do that. Nobody can go out there every day and follow it. And because there's always it's overcast, or if you don't have what are they called? The Santa Ana winds, right? When those come through, those really clear up the fog, the marine layer, and open up the sky. So again, it just sucks that we don't have those things yet. That there's enough proof areas that you could go get pictures, photographs, videos from different areas where these things are happening. But we just don't really have anybody who can do that. So
I think we should see if Dave would be willing to buy a really nice tour bus and put his app on the side of it.
Yeah.
And that way just have it just constantly go around the country.
Well, even Dave, I mean, by the money he puts back in there, I mean, I don't think he's making more than enough to get by. I mean, it's not like
I know.
living in
He's putting a lot of it back in the app, right?
Yeah,
I noticed that.
Well, and those developers cost a lot. I don't know if you've ever looked into paying for an app. It's not cheap.
No.
Like, I mean, I've called before and thought, I'll put all my videos on an app and and you call in there, you tell them what you want. I just want an app with a chat for live views. And they're like, okay, we cut 55,000. It's like, okay, never mind. See you later. You're not even close.
Yeah. I mean, there are ways to do it. I've seen ones where you kind of do it yourself, and there are ways to do it, but
those come out shitty. They're not, people will complain about them. It's just not a good venture. But anyway, I mean, I hate
if there's anybody watching like that's good with this kind of stuff that knows how to like generate like grants or anything, then like find a way. There's a way. It's just that like your mind and my mind aren't privy to it. It's not our expertise, and nor should it be. Like nobody's capable of all these facets. That's why like building the community right now is important. And even though it's taken some time, and the people in the community are pretty much we're all kind of like the same. But eventually we're going to get some people here that are pissed and also know about PR, because Flat Earth needs a PR department. Let's be real here. We need a fucking PR department.
Well, I started this VIP group of my own and the thought there is that, it's Dave Weiss put it this week. I mean, Dave Weiss is like, the reason we're all joining your VIP is because we want you to make videos again like you used to. And it's like, yeah, well, that's ultimately the goal, is to get back to doing some of that stuff. We all went away from that and we got into live views because live is easier, obviously, than making a video. Anybody knows that. Several times. It's not just like, oh, it's twice as easy, or it's like 10 times easier.
1,000 times easier.
Yeah. Because to make a video, you're spending a lot of time, you're editing, and then you don't know what you're going to get out of it. And whereas a live stream, you do 3 hours, you're done, it's posted, you're just done with it. So, but I do miss the other thing. But I also miss, I think that I want a nice community of people that, kind of grow together, that get to know each other and do good things. And that's the goal with that. So I think that I hate to have it be individualized. Maybe that's what's going to have to be. Witsit gets his kind of group. And I don't know how else to do it. That it doesn't seem like people want to join like a big conglomerate. So that's why I'm doing what I'm doing, is just hoping that at least if I can get myself funded and worry about myself, then I can start to kind of branch from there and get myself taken care of. And I hate to be that guy that does that, but what else can you do?
Well, yeah, no, I mean, the summits were really cool. I noticed that you didn't do one this.
Yeah, we're just a little bit busy, but obviously people bought yearly passes and lifetime passes. So we owe them one plus the one that comes up in June. So we were thinking about May, but it might be, and it's kind of dependent on when Austin can do it, but May or June probably is going to be the next one. So, and then we'll have to double up and do another one. So that's our plan. The summits were fun, but I don't know if the last one, if it wasn't for 2 people coming in and donating a huge amount at the end, we were going to lose money on it. So and again, this is what the problem. People have said, well, Jeran, you're not doing a good job of email marketing. It's like, yeah, I don't know how to do that. Like, I'm not an email marketer. I don't know how. I hate email to the point where I wouldn't even look at it. So unless you tell me like, Jeran, I emailed you something, I don't go look, I don't check my email. Because it's just crap, and and then I got lied to in emails before, and people will set you up and they'll tell you, hey, I want to meet you. It's just ridiculous. The Globers will go to any depths, any stretch to fuck with you. And so, and I know we didn't do a good job of email marketing, but then it's like, okay, well, if you have to hire somebody like that when you don't have the money to hire somebody, it just comes this question.
It blows my mind there's not people in the community that want to just make that their contribution, because
yeah, it's true.
Because honestly, like everything that I've done, like when I first reached out to you, like the first thing I could think of was like offering ukulele lessons. And it was just because I wanted to just
I took you up on it.
You took me up on it.
Yeah.
And to me, there was a part of me that just wanted to contribute with whatever I had to give. And I know there's other people that have that. And so there are people out there that are good at that kind of shit, that are willing to, maybe do it for the cause. And, because I didn't expect any, it's hard for me to believe that people will do something just because and not expect something in return. Yet I've done it and you do it. So it does exist. And, so I would say like, you're a Capricorn like me. So like we tend to have a hard time asking or wanting to venture out. We want to do it. We usually like to do things ourselves.
Yeah, I hate it.
To the point of exhaustion. But there
are
are a lot of people that would want to help, I think, if they are good at it.
I
Sometimes
just think we're
it
missing
sounds
the strength in
horrible.
numbers thing. I think we're missing the strength in numbers. I think that there's strength in numbers that people don't understand. They try and steal it from us. This is why they say the truth should be free. But look at our entire government. So every money that's spent on your police force, your fire department, your road crews, your you name it, your social security programs, are all funded by us. And we don't really even notice it, but it's because of taxes that they're able to take money from you. And when you have 350 million people in a country, all of a sudden you're just rich because you're taking money from everybody. So they utilize that strength in numbers thing all the time. And we don't utilize it well because we're so segregated, segmented that there isn't like a collective, which I do think that there is for other areas. And then, science gets funded by the government. So it's also your tax money going to NSF and all these other, to OSHA and to, I'm not OSHA. What's the, NOAA? Yeah. Is that what it is? NOAA, the ocean? I think so. National Oceanic and something Administration, whatever. Yeah, NOAA, I think. So like all those are funded by tax money. And so everything is funded through a collective strength in numbers kind of program. So that's kind of my thought, is that rather than, it would be great if people stepped up, but it would also be huge if there was some sort of a kitty that, and I don't have to be in charge of it. I don't have to be involved in it at all. But if there was somebody that I knew was taking care of flat earth, and that people could either submit like test, what do you call it? Like a appraisal or test. Here's my test idea. And then have some sort of committee of 3 people decide where the money goes. That's what I think we're missing. And then you have these projects that can be done, or these tests that can be done, or experiments, or things that are funded well, and that there's people there. So again, is that a pipe dream? Probably, probably I'm just hoping for something that won't be around anytime soon. But if anybody out there could organize that, more power to you. And I don't even have to be a beneficiary of it. I could be somebody who donates to it. That's the kind of thing that I think we need to see if people want to see this go further. If it's just a matter of, okay, because maybe in the landscape of the world that we live in today, it's not as important as it is to like get yourself situated, get your family situated, get happy within yourself. And maybe that's what's really important. And as long as that's important, then I feel like I've done that with Flat Earth, that I feel more comfortable in my own skin. I feel happier in my life. I feel happier with my wife, my son, the world I live. So it has fixed that part of it. It has really helped that part. And I no longer would believe the news, and I no longer would believe this kind of, and it was easier before. Now, before it was like, don't believe the mainstream and believe truthers. But now there's like, don't believe the mainstream and you better double check on everything the truther says. So but it's still there. It still makes me happier. And I think you're better off second guessing everything anyway. There's not a lot of times that you're going to second guess something and get hurt for it. You're just not. It's more than time. That's why I try and tell people about sharing things on Telegram. It's like, you're not getting brownie points for being the first one to share some video about whatever it is. Or somebody the other day in my group showed an Obama video of Obama saying, oh, people are too dumb to take care of their own affairs, that they need to actually divert to some sovereign leader or something. But I knew as soon as I saw it, I'm like, Obama didn't say that. I'm like, that would be like huge news. So, just had to look a little bit and find out that no, the actual speech is him saying, some people believe that this, and this, but no, in this country, we believe differently, that so of course, but it's like, who made that video? Like, did a truther think, if there's truthers out there who think that cutting up an Obama video and making him say something that he didn't is good for us, you're just wrong. You're hurting so much more than because people go out and they share that with their family. They say, look at what Obama said. This is why I'm a truther. This is why I don't believe the mainstream. Then they go look into it and they realize it's a fake, and they go back to that person and say, dude, this is a fake video. And you are now causing that person to go back into the mainstream because they're going to see, oh, I'm being lied to over here too. Well, then I'm safer to be lied to on this side. So I think that that's what's going on. And I don't even be surprised if it's people in that world that are lying, that are setting us up. Like, I'm not, because I can't picture a truther doing it. I can never picture taking a video and cutting it to make it say something it's not. But again, I'm not everybody. So maybe it's out there like that.
No, it's amazing. I was looking up stuff just like the fear porn for the eclipse, and I found these channels where like their whole thing is fear porn. Like, I looked at everything that they've done like the last few years, and
they
like,
probably have a lot of views, and they probably have
lots of views, and they've just taken this. I talked about this on my last stream. It was like one clip of somebody saying, what would happen if during the eclipse if you get a heart attack, and It was like, oh, they're gonna say everybody's gonna have a heart attack in the eclipse.
Oh boy.
But no, actually, it was just like if there's an emergency, like what do? You know, if there's a lot of people around. It was actually like, but you know, and so there is a market for people who just, I don't know, like they want that.
So
that
what do we do?
fear
What do we
bone.
do if we're not that person? Like, what do we do if we can't? I cannot bring myself to be that person, and everybody else just gravitates to it. I was going to show you. You ever seen this guy? I'm going to share my screen. Understand. Let's
Sure.
proceed. Have you ever seen like Christopher Green? Right, this guy here.
Let me see. Maybe.
So I mean, this
I don't
guy
think so.
lives in like luxury in Hawaii, and does a video where every video is breaking, prediction, warning, breaking,
Yeah.
breaking, and it's always this shocking announcement: property beachfront, breaking, last chance to onboard before Bitcoin, breaking, the big worldwide event is coming next, breaking, Bitcoin at 666,666, breaking, new price target. But he gets 13,000 views, 27,000 views. He gets way more views than any of us, and he just is, you know, out on the beach. He's out on a golf. Can you imagine me doing a video live from a golf course, being like, guys, the world's gonna end. You got to send me money. You got to get on my programs. I'm over here
you
golfing.
would be destroyed.
Well, how do these guys get away with it?
Destroyed.
So how do these guys get away with it? Like, they don't care that they're destroyed. It's almost like they pay somebody to go through and filter out their comments. They only put the good ones through. The other person is like, who's that guy? God Rules. You seen him?
Mm-mm.
And he's smart enough to at least erase his old videos. This guy, so he goes, and every video you see of his videos is always it just got worse for Jay-Z. You won't believe what insane prophetic events are coming in April. And everything. It's like, are we about to see the 3 days of darkness? People beginning to notice videos like this are freaking everyone out. It's about to get even worse. New footage from, and look how many views he gets: 134,000, 39,000, 84,000, 31,000. So this is what people want. So the deal is, if I want to be popular or make money on YouTube, I've got to lie to people. I've got to be sensational. I got to say this is going to happen. Hey, and it's not even, doesn't even matter if you're wrong. The guy, and look at this, is all his videos on his channel. You know why? It's because he erases every one of them, because you'll see that he's just saying the same thing every day. So he just like, I mean, this guy, and he says he's a Christian. This guy's a piece of shit. He just, people like this guy's not doing anything moral. He knows exactly what he's doing. But you know, this little video will flip your life upside down. Don't say I didn't warn you. This will turn your world upside down. Astonishing tech. Something very strange is happening at CERN. Lucifer's temple chambers beneath the Vatican. You know, Jim Caviezel. I mean, it's just like, oh my goodness. So I see so many people like this, and this is who makes it. This is who does well. This is who gets views. So what do you think of that?
I mean, it just kind of just shows what humans are and what they like. And unfortunately, like, you know, when I found you, it was a breath of fresh air, because the way you talked sounded a lot like the way I thought. And it was just so refreshing to have somebody just being like, especially with your views on religion. But like to hear you talk about flat earth and all your views, I'm just like, this is so nice. This doesn't feel like bullshit. And I investigated you thoroughly, and like there's no bullshit. And it's been really helpful, because there was a time when I didn't have, like, everything had like a little bit of bullshit. So, and my standards are high. So most people's standards aren't that high, or maybe they just don't. They just need an escape. I'm not looking to escape. I'm looking to do the opposite when I'm learning shit.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's probably the difference, is you're not offering an escape. You're offering reality, and that's scary. And maybe there's just not as much money in that.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't really been able to figure it out. I mean, I did really well when Jeff Berwick announced my name, but you know, Jeff Berwick, I mean, for a couple people have seen that he basically rug pulled a couple people. So again, it's like, so he's not doing things on a moral standpoint. And maybe people do consider it moral, to basically be like me and you deciding right now, okay, let's pick some coin that's worth a penny. Okay. JMC coin. All right, let's buy a ton of it. And then over the next 2 weeks or 2 months, let's push the hell out of it. That we've heard this about it. We heard this about it. And this guy said this, and we'll get this guy to come on my show and talk about it. And then when the price goes up to 8 cents, then we dump it. And so is that considered moral? I don't think so. I couldn't do it. But there's people,
even if like you didn't dump it, like somebody will, because
exactly. Exactly.
You know,
Right.
it's
That's what
because it's
that's what crypto is.
decentralized that like you have to just rely on the morality of man, and that's when it gets kind of
Right,
yeah.
which is the whole problem with everything, right? So I think that tells me though that when I see that the easy route is then I'm like, okay, those people are rewarded here in this world. And so I don't really, buy in completely to the Christian viewpoint, but I do buy in enough to know that I do think we'll be judged here, and I do think that the people who choose what's right for the reason that's right. I don't think it's good to choose what's right because you're afraid of God. Like, I'm going to choose this road because I'm afraid I don't want to go to hell. Well, you're not really being a good person, and you're just afraid of going to hell. That's different. So I think that it's a very select few people who say, I'm going to choose the road that's right because it's right. And that's it. And yes, will I make money? No. Will I get ahead in life? Will I be famous? No. But at the same time, you save your soul, and hopefully we're rewarded for that in the end. And if not, well, you'll never really know anyway. So,
Well, somehow, some way, we keep coming. Like you do continue to survive. And Max Egan had a stream recently that I really enjoyed because he was talking about how, he doesn't, he doesn't focus too much on that like Berwick does. And he says that like he's moved by his inherent like feeling of truth of his path, and there's just like like something that internally, and he says that somehow some way like in the last minute something works out, and that's the closest thing to faith that I've noticed in my life is when I feel like I'm on a righteous path. Sometimes just things in life just out of the blue, right when I'm like just about to be like fuck, like everything's going to shit, like somehow it turns around and I can keep going. And I think that's where true faith is when you just believe if you're on a righteous path. We may not have all the amenities that everybody has, but I have.
Yeah, those things aren't important to me.
Yeah, no, I just want to be able to. I don't know. Like I just want to be able to like do what I have the time to do stuff like this and not worry about like making ends meet. But
that's the goal, right?
That's really it.
Where the money's coming from next month. That's the hard
right.
Part.
Yeah.
And I get it because people who do start making that kind of money, they indulge and do those things, and probably most people would. So to say I wouldn't do that is not. It's not a position anybody would believe you saying anyway. So I don't say that because it's just not going to people aren't going to believe you anyway. So, but I mean, taking steps in your life to get rid of car payments, to get rid of credit cards. I think all those things are all great. Like I don't regret doing anything that I've done. As far as the steps that we've taken, even if you say, well, we've been doing this 9 years. Yeah. But in those 9 years, I got healthier, I got thinner. Everything about my life has improved other than say your bottom line. But have we gone hungry? No. Have we gone without a shelter? No. Have we gone without, heat and air conditioning? No. So that's where you have to be at least okay with what you've done and accomplished. I certainly don't regret. It's not like, oh, this is the worst. I regret ever doing this. No. And I've never once looked back and said, I wish I wouldn't have quit my job as a store manager. Never once.
Right.
Even though now I might work way more hours than I did then. It's just a completely different mindset. And I love the current mindset. So you can't really complain with that. And we got lucky with a couple, like you said, things just happened to work out. When I made some extra money that 2 months that Jeff Berwick announced my name and I was busy with consultations constantly, I forgot what the price was, but I think it was like, I want to say it was like 11 or 1200 for Ethereum. And so we bought a couple of those and now those are worth a lot more. And so I'm able to kind of dip into some savings when I need. So it's, you can't complain. But I guess my whole problem, and it's not even something I'm saying about me. I'm more concerned with people that I think are the kind of people that I want to tune into their show and they're just going to give us information. And instead it's got to be about money. And then I look at that and I'm like, well, people probably tune into the same thing about me. I'm guessing, maybe not. But if I'm on a show like this show or any show talking about this money, people are probably like, oh, this is the last thing I want to hear Jeran talk about. Okay, well, that's how I feel with Austin.
I don't mind it. I like when you do. I think it's great. I think it's empowering. I'm stoked that you do, to be honest. And I can't speak for everybody, but personally, I when you do that, I'm like, good for you, because and I think a lot of people would probably agree with me there. They're like, yeah,
that's probably one of the reasons that I hate doing it is because I think that people are out there watching like, oh, this again.
Well,
so
yeah,
I get it.
but that's a weird thing because everybody has a part in their lives where they have to kind of do that. It's the only way to survive. So to watch you do it, like it's not like anybody's out there just living the high life and not having to like sell their soul just a little bit.
Right.
It's just let's just be real here. So
my favorite is to get a real job. It's like, oh, go work for the man like you. Okay, yeah, I'll go sign up for that.
What is that even? What is a real job?
It means that you're working for, you're a puppet for some person who makes way too much money, right? I mean, this is why I got into this whole thing, or to begin with, was when I was at CVS and they took over from Long's, and it was just a different world. CVS was all cut and dry. They were bottom line. They didn't run stores like I thought they should at all. But again, here's the problem with that. I bet you CVS makes more money than Long's did. And so,
big time.
Right. So me as a person who says, like, I don't think you should run things that way. That's not the way Long's did. Well, that's not what they're looking at. They don't care about customer satisfaction. They don't care about employee satisfaction. None of those things matter in the world anymore. They used to. Remember the idea of the customer's always right? That's so gone. It is so gone. There's not one company that believes that, unless you're a mom and pop or a local restaurant. If you are Amazon, if you are CVS, if you're Walmart, that is, they don't care about that. The customer is always right. What are you talking about? They have enough money that they don't give a shit what do you think about them. So you can, it used to be like you just threaten them a little bit and they would do what's right. And they don't do that anymore. So I got banned from who was it? Mazda for giving them a bad report on one of those surveys. The guy calls me literally 5 minutes after I filled out this online survey, because I got an email, because basically I drove all the way to Modesto to get this steering wheel airbag recall done on my truck. And so I go all the way there and I get there and they do it. And then they say, okay, we'll have it done by 11, whatever. So then I take an Uber to go to Harbor Freight to go do some shopping. And then I get called by them. They're like, oh, we don't have the part. I'm like, what? But you've known for 2 weeks I'm coming in. And they're like, oh yeah, we usually don't order the part till the person gets here. This doesn't make any sense. So I go back there and they just didn't have anything done. So I was like, okay, so now I just drove up here an hour here, took the day off and for nothing. Yeah, sorry about that. We'll order it. We'll get it in for you. So when I got home, first thing I see on my email is a email from Nissan, from Mazda. Please rate your experience. I'm like, okay. So I start going through the thing, like 2, 1, giving them score out of 10. Was this person good to you at the count? No, because they just treated it like matter of fact, like no big deal. Just another part. I'm like, yeah, but the recall line called you and scheduled this and set it up because I need the recall done. Like it's a recall for Mazda. How do you not have the part? Doesn't even make any sense. So anyway, like 5 minutes after, I get a call from this guy. He's like, did you just fill out a survey on your email? I'm like, yeah, I did. He's like, oh, I'm the general manager over at the dealership. And I was like, wow. At first I was like shocked. It's like, is this guy getting? He's like, yeah. So that was the worst score we've ever gotten. I'm like, well, it was an honest score. I don't know what to tell you that you guys should. And then he's
told the wrong person.
And he's just like, he's like, well, and I said, well, I need to set up an appointment for when you guys get the part back. He's like, no, you don't. I'm like, yeah, no, I did. You didn't do the part today. I need to get it done. He's like, no, you're banned from the location. I'm like, for what? Like for the survey? Holy shit. And then I called customer service thinking like, I'm going to get this guy. So I called like corporate customer service, talked to this lady, and she just called me back and said, you need to schedule, you need to call ahead of time when you have a repair like that. I'm like, they called 2 weeks ahead of time. And she just basically said, nope, the buck stops here, bucko, or something like that. Like they weren't going to do anything about it. It's just crazy. It's like the world that we live in is like so different than any world that I was a part of. And when we started our bookstore, Miss and I, the whole thing, we called ourselves the golden rule sellers, which was like, we were trying to, so that's when I first started had my fall away. This was 2012. My fall away from society was this idea of how are all these companies only caring about themselves? I mean, CVS one time
have to compete, because if they it's become the standard almost.
It's when you sold, but it's almost like to compete, you have to be good to customers and employees. But then once you get above competition, you don't need to anymore. So that's kind of the place that we're at now, is that all these corporations are above competition. There is no competition for CVS. There is no competition. And even if you say, well, what about Walgreens? Okay, well then if there's only one competition, then it's kind of a monopoly industry, right? Like the drugstore industry can be shitballs because there's only 2 of them, Walgreens and CVS. Where else are you going to go? So it's kind of like this corporate world is really a problem. And then you've got all these corporations that are in the pockets of politicians. That's why Have you ever heard about, and then like the revolving door? Have you ever heard about the revolving door? When I heard about this revolving door idea, I was like, this cannot be something that people don't know. But like all of our senators or representatives, they all become lobbyists right after they end their term. And then the people that are lobbyists, they're the ones who run against them, and they're the ones who become senators. So all those guys are friends. So they're all friends. They're all former House of Representative members, former Senate, former Congress, and then they just keep a revolving door going. So it's it's insane. I'm trying to find the exact term. So it's a revolving door. Oh, Wikipedia has one. Wikipedia says, no, that's the actual revolving door. Not exactly what I was looking for. Revolving door definition of in business and government. Yes, it's the term revolving door refers to a movement of high-level employees from a public sector job to private sector jobs or vice versa. The idea is there's a revolving door between the two sectors as many legislators and regulators become lobbyists and consultants for the industries they once regulated, and some private industry heads or lobbyists receive government appointments that relate to their former private posts. So that's what we're dealing with. The entire world, the entire United States is completely corrupt. And it means that all the lobbyists that are out there lobbying for certain laws, who are paid by these corporations, they actually become the government. They become the Congress and the Senate and the House of Representatives. And then those people, when their terms end, they go and become lobbyists. So it's just, we don't even know that goes on. We all think that there's like real people running for office and real people becoming House Representatives. No, it's just these lobbyists that just do it. And then none of us do it. So we just sit there and take it. It's pretty sad.
Yeah. No, I know. There, even like, there's like an old movie that like showed that. Like, it's not new either. Like Mr. Deeds goes to Washington.
Forever. Yeah, it's been going on forever, and just nobody even cares. So
because it's too, I don't know. It's too hard to like accept. I don't know what it is. It's like people just don't. I'm blown away that people are actually talking about this next election as if there's any legitimacy after the last one. It blows my mind that they're like, well, now I think Trump's gonna like. Weren't we all there when at 4 a.m. when everything changed? Like, do we not remember? It's all like, how does any? But it's because it's safe to them. Like, they don't want to they don't want to acknowledge that it's all fake. They're like, because if it's all fake, there's nothing to fall back on, and it's too scary. It's too scary. They don't have the time. They don't have the time, not necessarily to like look into it, but they don't have the time to let their psychology wrap their head around that and live their lives with that new paradigm. That's all it really is. It's just like, we're just gonna pretend like this one's gonna be real. Like, it's, and the people,
politics is such a joke, and it also forces people to be liars, which I of course hate. So, because you have to be a liar in politics, you have to appease your base, right? So this whole thing of Trump selling a Bible, saying it's his favorite book, give me a fucking break. Are you kidding yourselves?
It's the best book.
It's the favorite. And then they asked him one time, "What are your favorite verses?" He says, "My favorite verse, all of them." He couldn't name one, so he said all of them. Oh my goodness! All the verses of the Bible are your favorite. Okay, whatever you say. All of them.
Who said that? Somebody said that about all of them. I don't know. That was from something. I can't think of what it was.
Trump did it recently. They asked him what's his favorite verse in the Bible. He said all of them.
All of them. They're just all the best.
They're all great. The best writings. Yeah,
and they're like, oh yeah.
And I love this whole thing about his hands being so small. It's hilarious to me. I think it's so funny.
Yeah.
I was watching this comedian the other day, and he was doing the whole thing about it's the camera. The camera takes away from my hand size. Make sure you write in the newspapers that my hands were large. It's just hilarious.
Oh my God.
It's funny.
I don't know.
He's a problem. But I'm reading this now, these numbers on this Investopedia, these numbers that they found investigating these senators. And I didn't know, it's now saying other countries have laws against it. Like in France, you have to wait 4 years to go into the private sector. In Japan, you have to wait 5. In the United States, you can stop and you become immediately. You go from being in the government to being in the private sector. Now you're in the business of the place that you just lobbied for or you just made laws against or for. So it's like, wow. I mean, these guys are probably pocketing. Look at like people like Nancy Pelosi, multimillionaire, right? What's her name? The vice president, Kamala Harris. I think they said her net worth was like $3 million before becoming vice president. Now it's $40 million. Where did that come from?
Yeah, where does that come from? I don't think that's their salary.
No, her salary is like 400,000.
Yeah.
Where did the other money come from? So it's like all these guys, they all are in the pockets of certain. You can't be at that high level of government and not be completely and totally corrupt. So I mean, I don't know. To me, we're way past the point of having to overthrow this regime.
Personally, I think things like what you're doing is the only, like, this is my suggestion. I mean, this
probably
is
the only moral way, right?
Well, I feel like it needs to kind of crumble from a sense, like from the ground up. Like it can't just be like, well, we need to get in there and regulate them. Like that's not going to work.
Right.
Like what changes is the hearts of men have to change, not like more regulation. And I think what changes the hearts of men is accepting truths like flat earth. I think that made me a moral person. At least I believe so. For me, it something about pursuing that. There, I don't know. Even Run Boston Bear on my stream a couple weeks ago, he made a good point that there's like a frequency that you kind of feel when you're talking about this stuff, and you know deep down in your heart that, I don't know, like if you're just kind of operating always on that feeling of this is what feels right to me. And the more you do it, the more that becomes the standard of where you're at. Like that's becomes more on an everyday basis. I have to operate there. And if you do it like if you do it once, I don't know, like, okay, it felt good this day, and then you go back to like normal. Okay. But like, if you just make that the standard and that becomes normal to you, then you live by example. And it spreads, and that's why, like, I don't think flat earth is going to be an overnight success. I think what it's doing as a movement is kind of doing what religion was supposed to do in a weird way, and not to make it sound too high and mighty, but what I think it's doing is it's allowing people to see what's possible and how to live your life and how to live authentically. And I think by example, like just like listening to you and other flat earthers has helped me become a better person and helped me like recognize where what hills I'll die on, what is important to me, like what isn't important to me anymore, like, and just feeling the difference of like, okay, I'm going to do this because it feels moral to me and it feels like I'm doing a good thing for humanity, as opposed to how can I scheme people into crypto or something like that. It's a different thing. It's a different feeling. I'm not saying like I don't think that's what you're doing at all. When I say crypto, I meant that completely different. But I'm just talking about like most men are thinking about, okay, how could I scam people today? I think I have people come to my door. They're like just trying to get me to like switch to like a different provider, and they're wasting their time, and they're saying all this nonsense. I'm like, you don't care. Why are you spending this energy on me? I'm like, this is such a waste of time. How do they get the energy to be so full of shit 24/7? It blows my mind. But that's like the standard of where that's the standard that they've set. And I feel sorry for them, because I think I could have easily gone down that road if I chose that a lot younger. Like if I made like, yeah, we all could be there. Also like pressure from our families. I mean, that's a huge difference. Luckily, like my family didn't really like push a lot of that, and they recognized that I'm very independent minded, and they had no chance whatsoever of convincing me to.
Yeah, was kind of the same way, but you could tell he thought less of me, right? Like when I was a store manager with a drugstore, I'm sure he was proud to tell people, "What is your son doing?" "Oh, he's a store manager." When I was doing flat earth stuff, I don't think he was, what is your son doing? Who knows what the fuck that kid's doing? I'm sure that was
right.
So, did he still talk to me the same? Yeah. I mean, did I, but, no, on a level of, what people consider to be, I'm proud of you for, or you're doing a good job. Cause again, like it should be celebrated when somebody has gone off on their own and they're doing their own thing. And there is some people who look at it that way. I've got a friend who would say that. He would say like, no, I'm really, shocked when he first did it. And I was like, oh my God, what's this guy doing? He lost his house. Now he's going downhill. So to see you 10 years later, still doing the same thing and still able to put food on the plate, is impressive. So there's some people who see it as impressive, but, yeah, I just think that it's the standard that they set now is a lie standard. It's what social media has done. Social media has rewarded lies. Period. Right? If you lie
Yeah.
about your family, if you lie about your current condition, and you always say these nice things. I mean, my wife's father, who originally was like used to be this Christian holy guy and everything, and then we found out that he had cheated on her mom a bunch of times. So they broke up. He actually left she has eight brothers and sisters. He left the whole family, went to Philippines to live there, and then he got a wife there, and now he's got a new kid. But now he posts on Facebook all the time like Bible quotes and like spend time with your kids and do this. It's like, dude, you left your 8 kids and cheat on. I mean, it's like, but again, so in order for him to be accepted and that's what he has to do. So it's like you force people into these positions where they have to lie, they have to pretend that there's somebody they're not. I just see it everywhere, and it's like I'm never going to do it. So I guess I've already accepted, and maybe I shouldn't do that, but I've already accepted mediocrity, because I don't think that you can be who I am and be above mediocre as far as financially, as far as you're going to be, that's the best you can do. So I guess I'm happy with where I'm at. It's the best I could do. Right.
Well, let's think about the things that you do have that are great, that we can be grateful for. Because these are what gets me out of bed. You have a solid group of people that would go to bat for you. And I'm not sure I could say that about like most people's like following. Like I'm sure like those videos you were showing me, but I don't think that they have as much of a personal connection with their content creators as they would with someone like you, because you've given them, I don't know, this gift of seeing the world this way is invaluable. And you know, like I don't know, like at least I'm from my experience, it has been. That's why I've always gravitated towards you.
I would disagree a little bit. I mean, well, when you say go to bat for me, I would, my former friends, so let's say the guys that aren't my friends anymore, the guys that were at my wedding party, I would say that they were people who I would have thought would have gone to bat for me, right? No matter what. They were also people that would be at events if I had birthday parties or birthday events or something. But I don't think that the internet friends are the same. They're not at all. They may be superficially the same, but they're not. I mean, Maverick's gotten 0 gifts from anybody. So, I mean, like that's.
No, I gave him a onesie.
Which one?
I gave him a.
You're the one that says I'm not vaccinated. You're right.
Yeah.
You're right. So, and again, and that's why I consider you a friend more than an internet friend. That's why we see each other in person. And we, so it's a different take. Whereas people, internet friends, I just have to be careful sometimes that they can be gone in a second too. Like they'll just be one day you'll be talking to somebody, they're your best friend, or you've been friends for years, and all of a sudden they're like, I heard you don't believe in Mandela effect. You're a shill. You're a controlled opposition. They just take off.
Haven't you seen that video? It changed.
Right. Right in front of me. What are you denying reality? It's just like, why can't we just believe?
That you're very right. You can't. I'm very optimistic, and I get burned sometimes when I think idealistically, and being somebody in your position, you do have to be kind of careful. And I've noticed that a few times. I've had a few people that being a little weird, but for the most part, not really.
Well, it's like, who else can say this right now? Anybody who's ever messaged me on Telegram, I've responded to. Now, does anybody else say that? I don't think anybody else can say that. As far as like people who have a channel and who have a lot of people, like, I just don't think that happens a lot. So you would think it would translate, but it really doesn't. It's kind of like, so then you have to wonder. That's why some people don't get back to anybody. And even like B.O.B. told me one time when I said, how do you handle people who want your attention? How do you handle people that email you this and that? How do you respond to these fans? He's like, you don't. Like, what do you mean? He goes, don't respond to anybody. He says, because if you respond to people, then they'll all of a sudden think you're a friend and they'll take it too far. Then they'll start contacting you all the time. Then they'll, expect things from you. And he's like, it's just better just to ignore them completely. And I probably should listen to people, and I never do. I'm always like, I just can't do that. I can't just ignore people, because I'm afraid that I would start doing a stream and everybody in the chat would be like, this guy hasn't answered me in 3 weeks. I've been trying to talk to him. And but maybe they wouldn't. Maybe they would expect that, because that's what the world is.
I've had a few of those. I've had people say they're like, oh, what are you, just too good for it to get back to me? Like,
right.
For sure.
And it's like,
and this is actually why I kind of took a little break, because I recognized that some of that was happening, and I recognized, I don't know, something in my astrology, and like that always pops up as a for some reason for me, my astrology tells me I have terrible boundaries. I guess I didn't know what that meant. So one of the things I wanted to
I
become
want to
kind
listen to
of
this because we obviously have the same one, probably.
oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, no. So like, one thing I learned is I didn't know what boundaries were, but it forced me to kind of learn what they are, and then you kind of and so I put everybody into like 2 different groups or 3 different groups. You got like your VIP section group that's you always kind of or that you always respond to, and then you have like an outside group, and you have to like put everybody into like these categories so you know ahead of time how to
Right.
respond to them, and those are your boundaries. So like that
That's
way you're
good. I
not
like to
like,
set
oh, well,
those
should I talk to him? Should I not? Like, no, like this person is not in the VIP group, and
Right.
that's your boundary, and you set it, and and that's okay. And if there's backlash, that's okay because your boundaries are for you.
Right.
And I noticed that when I started making content, like people were sending me all these things, especially like when I was doing parody stuff. A lot of people were sending me these wonderful parodies, but I'm like, I don't have time to go through all of these and make
And some
stuff
of them
like
aren't
they want me to. Yeah.
Some of them aren't wonderful.
Some of them aren't, yes.
Right.
And then I'm like, and it takes a lot of time to go through them, and then I'd have to like check them. I'm like, I don't have time for this.
Right.
And I would feel guilty. And then because I didn't have my boundaries figured out in my mind. And then I realized, okay, if I'm going to continue with this, like, who am I setting side, like, who's getting the VIP treatment, who's getting not, and just whatever happens, happens. And once you kind of set those boundaries, you don't have to like worry too much. Yeah, you have your VIP. Yeah, so that's that's my advice there, and that's for all content creators. I wouldn't say just don't reply because that's kind of
no, you're not going to build up a good rapport with people if you do that, right? You have to at least because I want people to generally like me. I don't think that there's ever any, I hope that person hates me. So you kind of want to try and keep yourself there, but it does get to a point where you're like, okay, I'd be much better off if I had a group of people that they were the ones I responded to. They were the ones that, and that unfortunately has to come down to money for me to where it's like, okay, let me have a VIP group and then I'll just worry about them, take care of them, be there for them. And then everybody else, unfortunately, as much as I can, but it's not something that I'm going to make a big deal about. If a day or two goes by and I haven't cleared my Telegram, I feel like it's a requirement. I need to get down. I need to go do this. I need to get through and clear it. So anyway, that's where, and then it's easier because, email, you have spam and you have everything else coming through there. Whereas it's just Telegram, you're just going to get people. That's it. Just people messaging you, and you can either put them into folders and you can kind of say, okay, these people I'm going to get to every day because they're VIP, or these people I'm going to get to when I can. And that's just, unfortunately, the best that I can do for now. And then the hope is that if I'm ever funded by those people, then we'll see if bigger and better things come along. But baby steps is all you can do, I guess. Tried other methods didn't work. And some of this might help me do things like make videos again, because I don't know if you heard me talk about it, but what's sad is that I used to get a bunch of people emails and things like that. They would say, hey, Jeran, you woke me up. You changed my life. You changed my life. I don't get that at all anymore. Now, the reason for that is because no new person is going to sit down and watch a 3-4 hour JERANism show. Doesn't even make sense to them. They wouldn't understand it. They don't get it, because it's like, that's more for people who know me, who are coming to watch me because they know me. It's not for people like a newbie who's coming to Flat Earth. Don't send them to my JERANism show. That's not a good place for them to start. They're going to be kind of confused by the whole thing. So I guess just realizing that I would like to get back to that. I would like to make videos. I would still like to do my JERANism show, but in my JERANism show, there's like 20 clips that I could take out and make nice little package videos that then would kind of wake people up. But I haven't been able to do that. And so this is kind of the hope that this is what it leads to, is to me making more videos. So if anybody wants to see me make more videos like the old school, look into becoming a VIP.
Yeah. Get on that VIP. Is there a link?
Yeah, it's
somewhere.
WHOP, WOP.com/JERANism. And that is the VIP group. And there's a good number. I mean, I think we've got like 65 now. So I'm happy with that. I mean, to get where I want to be is, several hundred more, but it's still a good start. And we had our second VIP only hangout on Saturday, and that was great. And what I thought was great is I think I only had 50 VIPs at that time, and there was 32 people there. It's pretty impressive for a 50-person VIP group to have 32 people watching a live stream, because that's, a good percentage of those people. Whereas it's a Saturday, most people have things to do. So I was pleasantly surprised by that, and I do think that can mean good things. if we always had that kind of number, that'd be great. I mean, next we're at 65 now, so let's say we get to 80, and if 50 people are there live, I mean, it's just like those are good things. Those are people getting together, having good conversations. And then a lot of people are looking for somewhere to go for singles, and that's another thing we're going to do is we're just going to add like a little topic on Telegram for singles so that people can kind of get. And we figure it's kind of safe for women that way. It's not going to have trolls. You're not going to have because trolls don't pay money, so you're not going to have trolls in there. And people should generally be pretty well behaved, considering that they're part of a VIP group. It's not just willy nilly and go in there and, do whatever you want, say whatever you want, call people whatever name you want. You kind of quickly leave the group. So that's the hope right now. That's the goal. And yeah, having these summits, continue on the summits, continue to do what I can on Rockfin, continue to do what I can on YouTube, on Patreon is still there. Again, there's like you have to pull from all these different avenues. Like you said, it always works out. And if one goes away, somehow something opens up. So you're right about that. That it does always seem like there's some light at the end of the tunnel, which is why I keep doing this, because it does seem like it's what's right to do. And anytime that there has been adversity, something's worked out, something's came through. We wouldn't be living here if it wasn't for Bob and Dave Weiss. So because at the time we had lost the house, we were looking for a place. We found this place. It was brand new. It was a brand new house that they were renting. We're like, what are the chances we get this brand new house? And they wanted like double deposit plus first and last rent. So, I mean, it was like, at the time, I think it was $1,700 to rent here. And it was something like we owed like $6,800 to move in. It was like double the first and last and double secured deposit. And so we just didn't have the money. We were just like, we've got, so it was like, Bob, is there any way you can loan me some money? Dave Weiss, is there any way you can loan me some money? Curious Jay loaned us some money. So luckily we got all the money and we got the house, and then great. And over the next couple of months, we paid them back. So it's, I have to be very thankful for the community, because if it wasn't for the community, we wouldn't be in this house. We wouldn't be. And then you start thinking like Maverick wouldn't be here. It's just the way things work, right? So everything happens for a reason. And I'm happy about that. And I'm happy with the people that have been with me for a long time. People have been here since the beginning. Somebody just joined VIP the other day. And at first I was like, recognizing, and then I saw the name and I was like, oh, you've been a patron since 2015 or 2016. And he's like, yep. I'm like, man, that's unbelievable. It's just crazy to think that somebody's been with there and now he's coming with me to the VIP. He's like, no, I've always loved what you're doing. I always love that you be honest, so there is those people, and that makes it all worth it. It really does. I wish that there was 1,000 more of them, but I'll take the one.
Well, are you able to at least, am I misspelling? I mean, I've seen this a bunch. It's WHOP, right?
Yeah, WHOP.com.
Yeah, check it out. Get on there. I like what Alex Stein says. It's like, man, if you don't have $15, you need to get a job and stop listening.
I just go up to like, hey, can we record something? And you tell people to join my VIP. He's like, yeah. I'm like, it's $15. Like, okay. Like, do you want to talk about it? He's like, no, just record. I'm like, okay. And the guy's like, just off his keister. He's funny. he's no different than the damn meeting him in person, man. I told everybody last time I picked him up from the airport and took him to Berkeley. We're in the car and he lets off an air horn in the car, windows up, driving across the Bay Bridge. The guy, what are you doing? He's like, I didn't know it'd be that loud. I'm like, you asshole. So this time we were.
I've always liked him. Yeah,
we had fun. GNM was fun. And he may not be everybody's cup of tea, and I get it. People want him to be like, oh, full flat Earth. If he was full flat Earth, he wouldn't have the show. Yeah, so I give him a little bit of a break. But yeah, the guy's funny. This time, we swear to God, this is the truth. So we went to, I picked him up and went to San Jose State. This is where he had his last presentation or whatever. So we got him, went to San Jose State. Then we left and he's like, did you bring any weed? And I was like, no, I didn't. He's like, well, let's go get some. I'm like, all right. So we're looking for a club that's open. It's like 10 p.m. We find this club that's open. We drive to it. We can't find it. We're like looking everywhere. Where's this freaking weed club? We can't find it. So we call him and he's like, are you open? They're like, yeah. And he's like, I don't see the building. We just see a Taco Bell and then a Popeye's chicken. And they're like, oh, we're in the Popeye's chicken. So he's like,
what?
So he hangs up. Okay. He's like, dude, they just told me they're in the Popeye's chicken. I'm like, shut the hell up. We pull into the parking lot. They actually rent the back of the Popeye's chicken. It's like they sell weed there. They have like, little canisters, little pre-rolls and things like that. But we're like, dude, this is the greatest marketing decision.
Genius. I mean, think about how much chicken's getting bought after that. I mean,
oh God, it's so hilarious. And they just got this, it's like a door into the back of the Popeye's chicken that's like been sectioned off. we were just dying.
So much shit has changed. Back
Oh,
when I was
man.
in high school, I had to drive down in the ghetto. And
Right.
if I was wearing a red shirt, I'd get a gun pulled on me because I'm like, oh, it's this is a crypt place,
Oops,
and
my
I'd
bad.
get like a $5 bag filled with seeds.
Oh,
Uh,
headache.
I wasn't
Headache.
like, hey, I have a headache. Do you have any hybrids? And like,
Right. Like indica or sativa. Yeah, right. Like we knew anything about that.
What are you talking about? Yeah.
I can imagine if somebody would have told us when we were like 18, having to sneak around to, go buy a bag or something. If somebody would have said, "Oh, when you're 40, it'll be all legal," and you'll be like, "Yeah, right."
Yeah, right.
Sure, it will be.
Now.
I'll believe it.
I know, and I didn't like weed. I feel like I was more paranoid then because it was illegal. So every time I walked around high, I'm like, oh, they could smell it on me,
Yes.
and all. And now it's like nobody gives a shit. So it's a much more relaxing high because I just don't care as much.
Yeah, I
But
like
I
it
used
too.
to
I
just
guess
be
when I used to be
paranoid.
out and about, I used to be paranoid a lot. But now it's like I make decisions about when I smoke a lot better, and I'm kind of use it as like a carrot on the end of a stick. That's I don't just wake up and bake like I used to, or
I can't do that.
No, then I'm done for the day. I mean, if I do that, then might as well kiss it all off. So it's
Right.
more of a better to kind of look and say, okay, tonight I'm gonna smoke this pre-roll, and then it's kind of all day. I can go through and do as many, hoping I want to get to that midnight spot or whatever. So
Yeah.
that's different, but yeah. But Alex Stein, he's just then he goes live and he's like just going crazy. I mean, it's like he's got so much energy that I would never. Last thing in my mind when I see that is let me go live and show everybody the. But he goes live and look at this Popeye's chicken has a weed place in the back. Just funny.
I know. I'm curious to know, like, because he has that youthful energy. Like, I kind of had that up until like maybe 7 years ago. Like, I probably could have.
He's younger than us. Remember that. So
He's younger, so I'm curious to know what he's gonna be like when he gets a little older. Like,
yeah,
but
because he doesn't seem to ever like. It doesn't ever really turn down, and he doesn't have a chance to. I mean, I guess he does when we're driving in the car, but then as soon as we like get to the event, people are seeing him and they're coming up to him, and he's very popular, and everybody's asking where his wife's boyfriend is, and it's just like this whole thing. He's like, just because he always talks about his wife's boyfriend on his show. So like,
yeah, that's right, he does.
So, but no, and then there's just like so many people there that, and he is actually changing people's lives. People, you woke me up, this and that. So I mean, I
He's
think
doing
that
it his little way,
Yeah, and he's got a good message. He's got, I've filmed his speech 2 times, and it's been a different speech each time. And you've got this huge this huge room or whatever you want to call it, full of people, and he's giving the right message, which is like, hey, we outnumber the government, we outnumber the police, we outnumber all these oppressors, and we just haven't taken our rightful spot. And it's just a good message, and so I support him as far as when he needs some help, and he doesn't know anybody really out here. So when he's like, hey, I'm coming out there, do you want to pick me up from the airport or film? Yeah, I'm all for that. So he's a good guy. Is he what everybody wants him to be? No. But again, is he annoying? Yes. I'm gonna admit that. So, but we had fun with GNN. That was a good time.
No, I know. I had fun.
Have you gone back and watched any episodes? I had the other day, and I had to message just time like, you got to watch this episode. It was hilarious. And your sports thing that day was was great. It's like I don't even know where you came up with these things. It was so good. It was the one where you were circling the COVID bugs. And there's COVID bugs here.
Yeah.
COVID bugs here.
Oh man, yeah. It's like let's do a reckless breakdown.
Yeah.
That was my favorite one because Cole Beasley was like, so he wouldn't wear a mask, and it was
like,
just COVID bugs here, and
you got to get it.
I felt like I started getting the hang of those, but I looking back, I'm realizing I made those way too long. Like now I'm like, I wish I would have just made them like a tight minute. I would send you like a 6 or 7 minute clip,
but they were
thing,
so good. I mean, I thought it was funny. I thought it was great. I mean, I think the show would have gone on if it wasn't for Alex getting kind of moved up in the world, but it was still fun. And so I enjoyed that.
Stuff I think stuff like that, to be honest, is where like it's what people really miss. That I love that so much because, well, especially because of the lockdown, we weren't able to really. I don't know. There was something magical about the Baby Truther show and the GNN at that time. Like personally, like I miss it so much. I think I was probably the happiest I've ever been, even though I was complaining about the world and all this shit. And like, but I felt like
there's a lot of joy.
I loved it. I look forward to it every week. And the fact that we were just making a mockery out of something that literally 99% of the rest of the world like didn't figure
Yeah,
out
I'm
yet.
wondering why we should do that's a brilliant strategy because you're not going to get strikes because you're saying the mainstream point of view, but it's done in such a way that it's alarming to people that they're like, okay, something. It's like culture jamming before that word was, now that's what Alex says he does is culture jam by going to these. He's like mocking the current state of things, and that's what we were really doing with GNN. It was fun.
Maybe we can, if you fundraise a little bit, if people wanted GNN back, set like a certain amount, and then, and that way, like if there was a certain amount that I can guarantee, like I would put tons of time into that. I would help edit. I would do a bunch of stuff, and like every week come up with like, and make it look legit, and make it and actually look like news. Like with all like the banners and the overlays and all that kind of stuff, and. If people, I think that's what people kind of miss is like an organized, well edited, like piece of like way of dishing out this news. To be honest, and I think I don't know if that would be a way to kind of like bring in a little bit of extra security to the movement.
Maybe we need to find a new name though, because like right now I just searched YouTube for GNN, and it's so funny. There's like, and then if you click by channel, there's literally 50 channels named GNN. So like I haven't even seen this yet. I don't even know where it's. I don't even know if we're on here still. There's a whole channel. I mean, the channel got moved to a channel of its own.
Never got a strike. Never got anything.
And I don't see it on here. So if you search GNN and organized by channel, there's literally 50 channels. I don't know what I would even search for to find it. Maybe Global News Network. I don't think that'll be it because it was just called. Oh, this one does say it, but no. See, it's just all the mainstream ones.
Do you have maybe we gotta like organize some playlists? That's one thing I've been meaning to do.
Yeah, I gotta do that too. I do. Luckily, I can kind of have some that are auto playlists. Like so anytime I name it JERANISM Show, it goes into the JERANISM Show playlist. So at least there's that. But I don't see it. I don't know where our channel is, but anyway, so you can't even tell somebody, "Oh, go look for it. It's GNN." They won't find it.
I know. That's the hardest part. That's kind of why I took a little break as well, because I felt like I got a little depressed because I felt like my efforts were like I don't even have the right rules, and I know I can't play our video on this channel. I'm afraid to, of the one that we worked so damn hard on.
Oh right, because you already did play and you got a strike.
I got a strike, and the fact that you and Alex Michael didn't. Made me realize I'm like I don't know my rules, and
so how does that even happen? I don't even understand that.
I don't know, but I have screenshots of every single time they struck it down. Like it definitely did. Even when I uploaded the censored one, that is, that's okay. For some reason, it wouldn't let me do it, and I tried on my backup Grand Central Station one as well, and they got taken down. And that one isn't even tied to me. So I don't know. But I think I'm finally out of the woodworks now. I haven't had anything.
What did you put for the category real quick? Just wondering what you put for the category.
I'm under entertainment.
Okay, that's what that's what I did too. Okay.
Yeah.
Because I figure it's better than putting music, or it's better than putting science. If you're a flat earth channel and you put science, I think you're gonna have a easier time. You're an easier target.
Right. Yes. Yeah. No. I made sure. I used to do it as music. But I'm not doing as much music, and it's really hard to do music on YouTube because even when I do my original songs in the style of somebody else, the AI is like, that sounds a little bit like that melody, and so. Like,
and they're supposed to do like splitting. It's supposed to be okay to make parodies.
Yeah. No, I know, and I looked into it. There's ways where I can like get I have to like go online and get the copyright okay, and it's actually free. It's just you gotta know how to do it,
right?
But
I found GNN, I think, but I don't know.
You find something, let's play it.
Yeah, I'll see if I can find something to play. It's funny, but I don't know where to go. Your channel, the Global News Network, reporting the truth for as long as the Earth has been spinning. That's funny. Yeah, and I mean, again, here's another thing: is that I've got to learn to do better titles. I mean, I don't do clickbait, right? So each of these says GNN, then the date, then the Global News Network. Like, there's no, like everybody else does a sensational thing that these are funny. Trying to find one with your.
There's one here. Someone put in the chat. We can watch a little of this.
Which one's that one?
From 11/18/21. I'm not sure. I guess this was genius. Holy shit! Oh my!
I'm trying to watch it. This one.
Okay, I'm gonna share.
Oh yeah, you're not. Okay, sure.
I'm gonna share it right now. Okay.
I want to find that one with you doing the circles of the thing. It's so funny.
Oh, I could look for that during this. Hold on. Here we go.
Tattoo like of a barcode or number on your arm.
Well, you guys know I'm not very good at pain, so I would probably have to go with a fashion accessory as a style guru myself. But you guys are welcome to get the tattoo. But you guys know I'm a wimp. I can't get a tattoo.
They'll just put you out. They put you out and then do
well,
it.
maybe then if they could numb it,
Yeah,
I didn't even think about that. Well, then maybe I could. I guess I could compromise something like that. That makes a lot of sense.
All right, everybody, we got Alexander Truth to my right. Alexander, welcome to the show.
Well, guys, we have a lot of crazy news. There's a lot of racism that is rotting our country. That's right. A lot of white supremacy that we have to focus on today.
It's Donald Trump, just saying.
100% Donald Trump. What's everybody in a red hat that says "Make America Great"? They might as well say "Make America Racist" again. That's what these guys are saying indirectly with those hats.
Yep.
We're going to expose that today, so buckle up, kiddos.
And we've got Baller Dave on the far side. Baller.
Hey guys, how you doing? Glad to be here today. Sorry, I'm feeling so well. You think it has anything to do with the vaccinations?
Well, I heard it's a sign that my body's doing great things.
Oh, it shows that it's working.
Yes,
it shows that it's working. Nice.
Yes.
Right.
Nice.
Right.
And when your nose bleeds, that's part of it. That means your nose.
That's what I heard from you. Yeah.
Yes.
A lot.
My nose bled constantly. Yes, and it's still bleeding constantly. Every time I actually lie down, it starts bleeding.
Oh.
But that's part of it, and that's actually good. I think I'm getting out all of the bad virus.
Exactly. Yep.
So okay, I did find that GNN the news the sports one. So I could put that on real quick.
Yeah.
This is like a whole episode, so I'm not quite sure.
Which one is it? What date?
That was November 18th, 2021. And that's on the dailyplane.com.
That's weird. It doesn't have that date on there. How weird. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so let's see if I can.
Is that one Alex in a bubble or something?
I don't know. I just found the actual one that
he's got progressively sick with the vaccine, so he eventually is in a bubble and then passes out in the bubble.
I remember that. Yeah, he just falls backwards. That was so good. Here we go.
Yeah, these are great.
I made an obnoxious amount of.
The NBA and NFL is at the start of what could be an amazing season. I say could if these selfish, stupid players stop being divas and whining about their body and their choice. Most athletes are known for their high intelligence and knowledge of global issues. That's why most had no problem rolling up their sleeve for the good of the team. And by team, I mean mankind. Yeah! But some didn't buckle without a fight. Mike Tyson says that he got it, but didn't do it willingly. Oh, trust me, Mike. This flu season, you won't regret it. Andrew Wiggins also caves into doing what is obviously right. But there are still some stupid, selfish, ignorant, air-polluting, grandma-killing sports stars that are ruining it for everyone.
And that's how all the sports people work.
Kyrie Irving
has become the face of a vocal minority of prominent NBA stars.
I love
expressing
Kyrie.
Their hesitancy toward the COVID-19 vaccine. The All-Star guard, who serves as vice president of the Players Union that blocked the NBA's effort to impose a vaccine mandate, has sparked backlash from health experts and basketball legends for refusing to get vaccinated.
Not to mention, he thinks the world is flat. The Buffalo Bills wide receiver Cole Beasley has been catching the most heat. He's been fined for not wearing a mask, refuses to get vaxxed, and says, quote, "I'd rather retire than get vaxxed." Well, sounds like your wish may come true. Recently, his fans showed them how they truly feel.
It's interesting. The wide receiver posted on Twitter that people right behind the bench yelled at him to get vaccinated. Now, here's the tweet that he posted earlier today. Only place I get booed at is at our home stadium. Then some of the same people want me to take pictures and sign autographs. I thought Bills fans were the best in the world. Where'd they go? If the vaccine works, then why do vax people need to be protected from unvax? Well, to be clear, we know what the science says, and we know what health experts tell us.
We sure do. It's not safe to go inside sporting events.
I'm not even going that far.
But couldn't that break up a team?
Listen, I'm not even going that far, Alex.
This
What
guy.
I'm saying is, if a guy like Cole Beasley ends up being the outbreak player and he makes us miss a game, not miss a game,
stupid.
I am going to punch him in the face.
Jesus.
Right? Do you understand what I'm telling you?
I do.
I have a more. If you are a player
pretty
that's
direct.
not vaccinated, and especially if we figure out you were out hanging out, you did something wrong, you didn't have protocol.
Wow,
like
the
you know,
world
like
did
when
change.
Gobert rubbed the mic and it was all fun and games. I am going to punch you in the
Look how
face
obnoxious the
repeatedly,
globe
and I
I made
want
there
a
is.
check from you to replace the money that I lost because you were being reckless.
Something.
All right, let's see how reckless he has been in our reckless breakdown.
Cole Beasley run out of bounds around the 10.
All right, as you can see, there's Beasley, and his COVID breath is going in all directions here. over by the stands. Break it down again. Beasley again. Got a COVID bug here. Got a COVID bug there. They're everywhere, folks.
That's a
All right, let's
receiver
try to watch
toward
the
top of
game.
your screen. Pressure coming. And
You can barely. What is this?
Cole Beasley.
All the bugs.
I mean, you can barely even watch the game. There's so much COVID everywhere because of this guy. It's out of control.
I mean, it's getting
what
in
are we
the,
gonna do,
it's
folks?
getting in the camera's
All right,
way.
I know. There's so many of
You
them.
guys, Norm, Alex, and Baller Dave.
That's too good.
So yeah, that was a great. Man, I was in such a good mood during that time because it was so easy to find shit. I would just write like sports and COVID into a Google search, and it wrote itself. It was so easy. I don't know if it would be that as easy as it is now.
Let's watch. I'm gonna give you this one. And
What do you got? What do you got?
this is the one where you went. The sports looks like it's the Let's Go Brandon one. Remember that one?
Oh yeah.
Where's the chat in here? Chat. Where is it out in the rear? Is there a chat button? Oh, there it is. I see it.
Oh,
Wait,
okay.
it's
You
everybody's
send me the
chat.
link.
How do I send you? Oh, just send it on Telegram or something. Where do I?
You can send it in the private chat here
Where's that
as
at?
well.
Where did I
Next
see
to
it?
the stream.
Well, I see
You see
chat,
it?
but when I click that, it brings up everybody else's chat.
At the very there's private.
Private.
At the very top.
Yeah, at the very top, I see chat, and then there's just.
You can send to me on Telegram.
It's easier. Let's just make
Yeah.
it easy. All right, here you go. There's that one, and let me give you the time to go to. Start it at let's see, right at the end of this. Go to 25 minutes.
25.
Yeah, and then after that we have Lena Wen on, so it's pretty funny. Watch that part.
All right. Okay, let me just do that. Go over
25
here. Share screen.
Good time. I remember myself being very happy back then too.
Yeah, no, even though the world was shutting down and like it was so stupid for some reason, like I kind of miss it.
It was funny.
I can't help it. I kind of miss it. Here we go. So around here.
Yeah, start right there. It's good.
It would be devastating and kind of boring.
Men who have had COVID are 6 times more likely to develop erectile dysfunction.
I'm sorry, what? 6 times more likely.
That's correct.
What are you guys doing? Go get the vaccine. We're talking about your future boners here, okay? I mean, I would cut off my own dick to protect my future boners. Okay, as I think about it, it doesn't make sense logically to cut off my own dick to save my future dick, but you know what I'm saying. It's just important.
It's actually pretty simple.
Get vaccinated, guys. Do it for your penis.
Just public service there. Let's go to
Trust
sports.
us. We're penis doctors.
You're dry.
I lost car driver
Sorry.
Brandon Brown has become America's favorite sweetheart.
Let's go, Brandon.
Packed stadiums across the country can't stop cheering for this guy. They love this guy. Let's go, Brandon. Conspiracy theorists actually believe they're saying something vulgar about the president, but I don't know what they're talking about. Let's go, Brandon. Let's go, Brandon. Let's go, Brandon.
Let's go, Brandon. Let's go, Brandon. There's no way they could be chanting anything bad about our president. Most popular president of all time. He even says so himself.
81 million Americans voted for me. The largest number of votes in American history.
Clear majority. Let's go, Biden. I think I heard that. All right, and that's sports.
That was Christopher Crum, everyone, with another fantastic.
Oh man, I kind of just want to
story.
watch this.
And now we've got
And this is, the next one is
the highlight of the
Lena
show,
Wen-
I believe. And we got to bring this on. Whoops! Now we got everything screwed up here.
Because
Give
this
me
girl
one
was
moment,
like
would
such
you?
a problem.
Was that
Leanna Wen? Remember her? The
Mhm.
Asian that would talk about, oh, you got to get, we got to arrest you guys and put you in cages, and that's what we bring her on right here. It's hilarious.
Oh, that's
Be so kind. And we will get. I'll go ahead and let her on. She's been bugging me the whole time. Oh,
But
sorry.
what a great sports segment. I mean,
Thank you, Alex.
absolutely
It's pretty good, wasn't it?
Very good. And I can't believe all the support.
Yeah, it looks like you guys are all there around that table too.
Really,
That's
Unbelievable.
Really cool.
And I just wish people would stop with the nonsense, thinking that it's anything else, because it can't be. What they're saying.
America's
is-
the best it's ever been, in my opinion. I think it's the best this
Mhm.
country has ever been.
I love the new gas prices. I'm a real big fan of all the food prices. They're really right where we need them. So anyway, we've been trying to get
Well, the cat food prices are so high that it's
give them,
causing-
feed them half as much, but add a little water. Then you're paying the same thing.
Yeah, you're right.
Try it. I'm just saying. Just try it. All right. So now we've got a very special guest coming on. I mean, we've talked about her before, and I know I wanted her here first more than anybody. So she's here, and we are excited about it. Let me see if we can get her on here. So yeah, this should be awesome. I mean, we definitely got big fans here. I just think that she needs to. Is she here? Oh, she is here. She's waiting for us. Okay. Alexander, are you gonna say hi to her? You gonna
look at him?
Oh, we love you, Leanna.
There you go.
I want your babies, Leanna.
She doesn't look very happy with that. I don't know.
I know. I'm
Hurry,
sorry.
relax.
I know. She doesn't like to talk about babies because of the whole Planned Parenthood.
I think we're gonna get into that. Relax, Alexander. Okay. Clearly, I saw her first in the back room of Zoom. So if anyone's getting anything, it's gonna be me. All right. And let me introduce the beautiful, down to earth, lover of children, savior of humanity. She is a columnist for the Washington Post, an on-air commentator for CNN. She's a medical analyst. She was formerly at George Washington University. She was president of Planned Parenthood. She is a global health fellow at the NWO, and she's about to be introduced. Did I say NWO again? I'm always doing that.
No, it's the WHO.
George Washington
Not the
University.
NWO.
GWU. George Washington
The
University.
WHO.
I'm sorry. Who?
No.
I'm
She
about to
graduated
introduce her.
from George Washington University, GW.
Wait.
Excuse me, Alexander.
I thought you said that she's with the NWO. That's what I
No,
said.
it's the World Health Organization. The
Oh,
WHO.
that's
The
what I meant.
WHO.
That's what I
not
meant.
the
She's in the rock
NWO.
band. She's in the rock band, The Who.
You're very welcome.
It's whoops, sorry, that was bad.
rock
That's
band.
my bad on that one. Okay, so anyway, I always get those two mixed. Anyway, she's
You're
Dr.
very
Wen. Here she is.
welcome,
Thank you. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
gentlemen. I've always enjoyed talking to real men.
Thank you.
You know, the kinds that get their vaccines, the ones who aren't afraid of a little pokem, the ones who see the vaccine is the only way out of this pandemic.
True.
Vaccines, second jabs and boostrums, many boostrums.
Boostrums.
So thank you for having me. I must keep it short. However, as I have a booster planned for about an hour from now.
Well, I thought you had a booster appointment. You have one today? Because you told me that you had one last week and couldn't be on the show, and then the week before. It's kind of weird.
Yes, it is true. I've had boosters both those days, well as
just like every week?
boosted often, and I as a
Cool.
because that's how you stay safe and remain healthy when COVID exists behind every door, on every surface, on every handshake, every kiss on the cheek, every shoulder you brush and by you throw you never know when they're going to be everywhere in your airways everywhere.
Wow, that's a lot of but yeah, indeed, we're all very scared of the
That's a lot of
COVID bugs. Obviously, Alex was in a bubble last week, so I think you're right when you say that we need to treat the unvaxxed like drunk drivers. Here we are being good citizens, right? We're stopping at stop signs, we're remaining in our lane, and then here comes some Trumper some white guy in his Ford F-150 with an American flag flying out the back. His children are bouncing all over the cab. He's drunk, putting the lives of everyone in jeopardy.
He's playing Kid Rock.
Oh, man.
He's playing Kid Rock full
How much you want to
blast.
bet that he's unvaxxed, Leanna? How much you want to bet that white asshole driving that truck?
Oh, and I'd be sure because
Yeah.
this is their mentalism, mentalism. He thinks only his life matters. So how can he do what is good for what he wants? Well, guess what, Jack? Have you watched the news? Have you watched the news and have you looked around and seen the chaos and destruction
It's everywhere.
this deadly pandemic has caused? Now, I know you don't believe in science, but without it, you wouldn't be alive. That truck you're driving is science. That seatbelt is science. That Randy Travis cassette tape is science. All science, man. All science. But because you're afraid of a needle, you choose to put the world in harm's way, subjecting your COVID spittle
Kelsey, by the way,
breathing out and in and out and in and out and choose to put the world in harm's way. And as you go around breathing and out and in and out and in and subjecting us to your COVID spittle. So I propose life in prison because of countless deaths you've caused. We don't know how many, but I've done math that it's about 150 deaths per anti-vaxxer. And I don't want to hold them responsible, but they aren't driving under the influence. They're just as dangerous. Unvaxxed idiots as a DUI these days should be arrested and jailed. And good thing here is no argument to be had. There's
I like
no
that.
argument. All anyone that decides to not take the vaccine is basically a racist murderer and should be put in prison for life and is a child pedophile as well.
Wow.
So that's what's going on. And I hope I can come back really soon and get the word out that we all need to get vaxxed. We all need our children to be vaxxed, and we need to stop breathing and cover our mouths and our airways, and we'll all feel a lot better once we're in the grave because we won't have to worry about anything except for ourselves.
Well, I agree. I just think it's you mentioned the children in school. So with schools, all we care about is the vaccine and masks. That's all we need.
Oh, heavens, no. Of course, vaccines, weekly vaccines, double masks. I think they should get one 30-second break a day.
That's nice.
Give them a card to hand to the teacher. Then they may go stand in the middle of the playground and take the mask down 1 inch below the mouth and breathe normally for 30 seconds. Also, they need to be put in a plastic pod and very safe, effective
That's smart.
plastic pod and
That's
then
smart.
zipped up in pod bags, which every student in one of these this pandemic should over.
They're vented pod bags.
Yeah.
And then this pandemic should be over in about a decade.
What?
That's not that long. It's not that long.
Well, I hope so. A decade, man. Damn anti-vaxxers. Can we talk about your miscarriage, though? I thought we could bring that up. Yeah, you got a smile on your face. It's pretty cool. Can we talk about that? Can we get into the details?
I didn't have a miscarriage. I didn't have one.
Oh.
They don't actually exist.
What?
Are you meaning the removal of the unwanted clump of cells that maybe one day have been a living thing?
Yeah, that's what we're talking about. That's a miscarriage.
That was just non-materialized cells. I made the
fired
mistake of calling it a miscarriage in Planned Parenthood. The
Saying it
great
was a miscarriage.
That was still genius, man.
She was the head of Planned Parenthood, and then she said she had a miscarriage, and Planned Parenthood dismissed her because there's no such thing. It's just a clump of cells. Miscarriage is saying like you were gonna, it's just a clump of cells that they eliminated. So she that's
Is
good.
that Missa doing the voice, by the way?
No, that's Kelsey.
Oh, it's Kelsey, really?
Yeah.
What happened to Kelsey? Where's she at these days?
Got married and disappeared. No, I'm in a text group with her. I see her talking occasionally.
Oh yeah. She's doing
She
all
like
right.
opened up a skate shop and like they got cool stuff over there.
Yeah, she was fun. No, that whole time was a lot of fun.
Good
I mean, that's the world got a little bit more normal, and so yeah, it was just too easy during that time, and because it was so taboo, like not that many people were taking advantage of how like we jumped to
that was pretty dangerous for us to do that. At least
Yeah.
it felt dangerous, but now looking back, it's like, okay, well, we were just saying the mainstream line. What really? It's
Exactly.
comedy in the mainstream.
You're really good at that deadpan, like, delivery, by the way. It's money.
Speaking of that, like the hilarious thing was you doing the sign language for the Baby Truth intro.
yeah.
Was probably one of the funniest.
We'll probably knock that out in like 1 or 2 takes too. I'm just
I forgot, were you doing it with just me, or was it the day that we were all?
Oh, it was you, Rose, and Alex. Yeah,
that
we
was so
met
much fun. That day was so much fun.
That was great.
I just kept saying, we're just gonna keep playing the song, do whatever you want. I'm gonna record the screen. That was good.
Everyone was just having a good time. Yeah, I know. I asked Dave last week if he would bring it back, and he said he'd be down. He would consider it if Alex would, but I don't think Alex was the star of that show, man. I think you and Dave could easily carry on that show.
Yeah, I think if we had another one, maybe another person, 3.
We should shop that show around to some producers and see if we can get some.
Because really, what the whole thing was is that I just said to each guy, Dave, and I said, just go to the mainstream and find 2 or 3 funny articles. And that was it. Bring that to the show, and we didn't do any practice or anything. It was just show up, and then it was like, all right, Alex, what are you going to show us today? And then he would go through his 2 or 3 articles, and it would be our own kind of take on the humor about those articles. So it was just good times. It was funny.
God,
Definitely
they were so much fun. Every week was so much fun. Like, and because we were all kind of getting paid a little bit from the government, like I didn't have to worry so much about money because we all kind of were getting COVID hush money at the time.
I was not. I think you have to have certain rules met that I did not.
Oh, right. I was able to, and I put it all in the pirate chain. Thank you, government. Oh man,
I'm trying to find our Baby Truth intro, but I don't know if I'll be able to find it. Just because you doing the sign language is too funny.
Oh man, yeah. I feel like I kind of stole the thunder on that.
No, it was perfect. It's exactly what I wanted. It was hilarious.
I do have ventilators here. On like
that's a good one.
Do you want to? Yeah, I'll put
Yeah,
that
so
on.
they
Everybody
need
take
to
a
glass
2
water
little
anyway. I
break.
ran out of water like an hour ago. So
Perfect. I'm gonna put on some ventilators. This was one of our classics with Rose.
It was good times.
Yeah. So yeah, we'll take a quick little break here and put on some ventilators. This program I have here takes forever to.
What do you use?
Well, I just started using Streamlabs Talk Studio, which is.
I didn't even know such thing exists.
Oh, what happened? Did I lose you?
I don't know.
Okay, so Streamlabs, it's pretty much the same thing. Are you still there?
I think so. Why not?
Okay, cool. My screen just kind of reset. It's basically the same thing as StreamYard, but cheaper and more options. It's kind of cool. Still working it out. All right, we're gonna take a little break and listen to some.
Ventilators, doctors, nurses, gather round. Let me be quite clear. If you want to continue to work here, we follow COVID protocol. Positive test, it's time to interfere. Put them on remdesivir. Ventilators, powered up. Forget what you think's right, forget it soon. A new protocol when you get up in a room. When they say they can't breathe, let it be known that the vaccine would have helped, but now they on their own.
Just take the guidelines from the CDC. On my mission trying to find Dr. Tony Fauci. If you're coughing from COVID, there's no need to fear. Sit your ass down and take remdesivir.
So it may sound a bit mean and tortuous, but the protocol's right, and no one can sue us. PCR the patient, let them know what's up. You're positive for COVID, and I got the hookup.
These skanks are hardly breathing, probably die for sure. Get these hookers ventilated, it's their only cure. When it comes to settled science, there's no need to tweak, cause flattening the curve only takes 2 weeks.
Your lungs are jacked, you can't breathe for yourself. You best believe that we've taken your health. See, here's the thing, we get a big check. Body bag this one, and let's see who's next.
See the homie tube up and vitals dropping down. I think we need to get another ventilator now. They always wake up real quick before that starts to drown. Now it's time we get paid to ventilate these clowns.
So many are It's not just here, it's happening in your hometown. We don't care if you die. Let me aspirate. Intubation, elation, when we ventilate.
Just take the shot and do what you're told. Dr. Crumb is about to make them suckers turn cold. They dropping and yelling, it's a tad bit late. So Jeran and Crumb had to ventilate.
Into a whole new nigga. Vaccine getting me, I beg it. Seizures on a crazy ass level. We take away your life cause your life's unessential. Drugs, twos, we brings remdesivir. Can't breathe, we put you down and in a body bag. If you roll how we roll, we're gonna have to suggest this. It's the COVID era, we're genocidal occultists. Gonna admit you give your drugs and make you stay. If you're sick or healthy, we got to ventilate.
Oh yeah. Oh man, that was so dope. All right. So that was ventilators. Now Jeran's on his way back. Let me check out the chat. Wasn't that fun, guys? That was classic. Were you guys all there for all that hoopla during that? That was so much fun.
That was a good time.
That was good fun. Now, Now, okay, so we got like I know we don't have too much time left, but I wanted to kind of spend a little time maybe doing a little brainstorming, and I got the A-OK to do a sample from Conspiracy Music Guru of a song that he did.
Do you want me to play the Baby Truth intro real quick, just with your?
Oh yeah, please do.
Let me show that, and we'll be done doing that.
Yeah, please do.
Share. I don't know if it'll let me share from the also share audio. Let's share the window. I don't see it on here. Entire screen. Wait, what? Why doesn't it show my pop player? Let me see. Oh, yeah, there it is right here. I don't know if you'll actually see anything. It looks like it's blank. Do you see anything there?
I see it.
Okay, I'm gonna press play. Tell me if you see it. Go. You see it?
It looks blank.
Okay, that's what I said. I don't know why it doesn't show that window, but I'll just share my screen. Easier. Let's move it over here and share the screen. Let's go this way. Okay, so now it should work. Let me go to stop sharing. Share. And what do I do? Entire screen. Oops. If I do that one, it might work. Let me see. Share. And then we'll go with a maximum.
Here we go. It looks like it.
All right, we'll do
it looks good.
3, 2, 1. Houston, we have a problem.
Good times.
Oh, yeah. On the ground. You got a bunch of guys about to turn blue.
What you're seeing here is a mirage.
Yeah. You know what time it
Hey,
is.
Crumb.
It's Thursday, y'all. Time to take the training wheels off. Wow. We got Rose 777 here. She's yelling poppycock. Poppycock. Dave Wise with his backwards cap. In the flat earth, sun, moon, and zodiac clock app. And we got prime time. Alex Stein, number 99. He's on the grind all the time. And Jeran from JERANISM, keeping all these babies in line. Let's kick it.
Are you able to turn off the echo cancellation on your end?
Does this help? Echo cancellation. Turn it off. Let me try. Settings? I don't even see the settings now.
Oh, yeah. It's all right. Don't worry about it.
It's almost over.
Wow. Sorry, kids. Things ain't always gonna be what they seem. They start you off early, got you thinking that we one team and we should live, breathe, believe the same one thing. Skip the lecture. I'm a director.
Look at Crumb.
And out. Only certain people get a ticket to the hideout. Waiting for us to go put the fires in the sky.
I did spend like half hour like looking some of these things up.
You're close. I remember Mavi makes an appearance in it, doesn't he?
Mm-hmm.
And then Austin
constantly doing baby.
And Austin floated into David's screen and got pushed out.
Oh yeah. Oh man.
That's funny.
So
Good times, good times.
what was the oh whoops. Oh, let's show
What'd I do?
you.
Oh, it's like-
Oh, there we go. It sucks that what was it like RV that kind of ruined all that, or what was
No, I don't know. I
Donald-
mean, wasn't it around Alex leaving? I think Alex.
Yeah, that too.
Oh, there was the whole hang up of getting called pedophiles, and we were doing it because the babies on the street. I mean, it's just nonsense.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was a time when the community went a little dark. I think during the
They did.
flat Earth asshole guy.
They did. He did. Yes.
Yeah, and I was like, and I remember like RV thought that like I have all this money because I
You have all those keyboards.
I had all those keyboards, right.
And that Alex's
Yeah.
mom faked her death, and that Dave Weiss was an agent because he sat backwards on a ladder.
Yeah,
which is
now I'm super rich.
Look at how rich you
can
are.
tell. Look how rich I am.
Look, I can afford this big studio. That's what he would say. He'd be like, these are foam
Yeah,
bricks.
so
Cost
this is
me
obviously a
$48.
psyop.
Oh yeah, this
Oh,
is
that's so funny.
I'm here with Alex Stein. Alex, what do you think of people who don't join my VIP club?
Guys, join the VIP club. $15. If you can't afford that, you need to stop watching YouTube and go freaking get a job. But if you can't afford it, come hear some truth from a real pimp on a blimp like Jeran. Let's go. Do it.
There you go.
Oh
Anyway,
man, that's
okay,
so
so
good.
let's brainstorm. I have till like
So,
a couple, 20 minutes or so.
Well, yeah. I know we got a hard stop at 2:30. A few streams back with Rose, she was showing me what AI. We were going over like AI stuff, and we came across Alex Jones doing a Taylor Swift song, and it sounded pretty spot on. And then Alex Michael reached out to me. He's like, "What is that?" And then we were kind of brainstorming ideas, and I kind of feel bad maybe even bringing this up before it's done, but he said it's okay if I play a little of this, and I'm pretty excited about it. And I'm only gonna play the first minute. I'll play through the chorus. I told you so. Done as
Wait, this is Alex's
Alex
song?
Jones.
This is Alex's
Alex Jones singing
Yours.
"I Told You So."
Oh, God.
Can you hear it? Okay.
I told you so. I told you. I told you so. I told you.
It was better before. Couldn't hear it as good.
Remember when I told you about 9/11? Now. Remember when I told you about Building 7? Now. Remember when I told you about the fluoride in the water? Yes, I did. Remember when I told you about the New World Order? Remember that? Remember when I told you about the chemtrails in the sky? Remember when I told you that NASA was full of lies? Remember when I told you about the ultra mind control? Well, I just want to say that I told you so, yeah. Remember when I told you about 432? Church, that is. And what 440 can do to you? It hurts my ears. Remember when I told you about the vaccine agenda? Yes, I did. And that Michelle Obama is a transgender. Yes, he is. The dinosaur fraud, the climate change scam, and yes, Sandra Bullock is also a man. Remember when I told you that there ain't no globe Well, I just want to say that I told you so. 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 Yeah.
All right, so I don't want to give too much away, but so this has just gotten me kind of thinking about the possibilities, and I thought you might be interested in brainstorming a little bit, because now that technology exists,
They do.
I was talking to Alex Michael, and I said, hey, I learned how to deep fake, like a year ago. I figured out how to do that live, but I don't know how to make the lips sync up to the words. I haven't figured that out yet. If I was to get how to make it look exactly like Alex Jones behind the desk singing that song.
Right.
But there is a way. I mean, it just takes
what did you used to do with the AI when it used to change your face in real time?
Yeah, I use this program called Face Swap.
Okay.
And you can do it live, and I would upload. What's that?
Can't you do it so that you become Alex Jones and then you sing the lyrics?
Yeah, but I would have hair, and it wouldn't look very good.
Okay.
I could do that. That's a possibility. Originally, I thought maybe I can just deep fake, Alex Michael's video, but he's kind of standing sideways, so it wouldn't really work.
Why can't you do it? I've always noticed that if you find somebody talking and put words behind it, it can look like they're talking. Right? That looked like Leanne Wynn was talking when it was
kind
Kelsey.
of. Yeah, I did.
If you go kind of, I mean, if you're looking for perfect, AI is able to do that, but I don't know if that's at a consumer level yet.
Well, I did look into it, and it does exist. There are things out there. It's like there's an open source one. I don't really. I just didn't have the time. I'd like to do that. But what I'm saying is, with AI, there can be a whole nother level of activism. You know what I mean? Parodies are one, but imagine having, "Why do you trust these liars?" sung by anybody you want,
right?
Or, I don't know. That's what I mean. It gets my brain thinking about what we can do. I've always wanted to do a parody to Michael Jackson's "Bad," but it's flat.
That's good.
Yeah, and you can get I can never sing like Michael Jackson, even Michael Jackson impersonators. But there's AI now that you can make it sound just like it.
Right.
So I don't know, what would be the next level for some of these fun little activism parodies and stuff
that was good. Michael Jackson is bad. I like that idea.
Yeah, it's flat, it's really, really flat. And when I go to get my I don't know, whatever. There's something there. But
there's something there for sure.
Yeah,
you guys did great. We had Steve and Alex on, and you guys were ripping off a couple ideas. One you had that you almost made a perfect song, then you guys just dropped it. What was it? It was
we don't know shit.
Yeah, that was great. I mean, everybody liked that, and you just stopped and went on to something else. It's no, keep going with that. It was great.
I know. I actually was trying to. We don't know shit. We don't know fuck all. We don't know our ass from our elbow. There are people out there who think that they know, but it's true. I don't know shit, and neither do you. We don't know shit. We don't know shit. Yeah. Yeah, we could do that. I should have him on again. We can just. We've tried this before where we're writing stuff live, and it's kind of stressful because
it is stressful.
This stuff, it's really stressful. You don't know for sure how it's going to flow.
I don't know how anybody does anything, I can't imagine a Maroon 5 or some group writing song. It has to be one guy writes a song.
Yeah,
I don't feel like you can really have multiple guys try and write a song. It just doesn't work.
But usually somebody comes with an idea, and then you get a group of people that you trust to kind of help with the stuff.
Did you watch Always Sunny in Philadelphia?
Oh yeah, I love that.
Yeah, it's so funny. I'm just wondering, I can't imagine their writing, because it must have been nobody would ever write themselves into a shitty role. So it had to be the other guy saying, "Okay, Charlie, you're going to do this," and Dennis, "You're going to do this," and then they decided for that person. So that's everybody gets kind of shit on. But no, you guys should do that song. I was telling Alex we could probably get an album out. We probably could get like a parody album out. At this point, there's enough of them that we've done that we might be able to put together a 10-song album.
Sure, absolutely. And that's these are the kind of things I think we could think about as far as bringing in revenue to help with the cause, because it's not, because like, you know, obviously like it'd be nice to live in a world where people just supported, like, you know, patrons, but producing some sort of product, as like Dave shows, like ultimately is the way to go. And
yeah, or at least offering something. I get it.
Offering something. Yeah. And, but you know, but beyond like levels of like, you know, of like, you know, subscriptions, like stuff that's, I don't know. There's stuff there. There's stuff there that's like, I think we're just being, this journey is going to be a tough one, you know, like for people like you and me, like it's like we're picking the hardest road. And so we can't really complain.
Any kind of good road is hard. That's what I mean by like, I've kind of accepted that it's not going to think it's going to open up to that. It's just not what the world wants. It's not what mainstream wants. So to think that we'd be able to get around that somehow, like not very many people have done that. Maybe Tom McDonald, if you want to consider him somebody who's at least bucking the trend and on YouTube and making money.
Yeah.
But
I don't know. He kind of lost me at the Ben Shapiro one.
He does copyright claims on anybody. So if he plays,
that video I showed of him, even if it was like a breakdown, I got it. I can't. Yeah. So
he's probably making millions.
Yeah.
Off of everybody else playing his music. So.
Again, I mean, come on, the Ben Shapiro one, like,
wow, that's a stretch.
That was brutal. That was hard.
Then, you know that song went to #1, and then Ben Shapiro did the smartest thing ever. He retired. So Ben Shapiro is the only person in basically music history to ever have one song released to be a #1, Billboard #1, then quit.
Wow,
as if he deserves that title.
I don't know. He's probably retiring because it's probably in his best interest right now with what's going on over there.
Yeah,
but you know, but I don't know. Like, I like I'm trying to like think of fun things because GNN, but it just felt like there was no. I didn't have to motivate myself. You neither. Like it was so fun just collaborating on all that kind of stuff. It was such a great way to like, I don't know, like just entertain our urge to be creative and stick it to people and like, you know. And I don't know, I'm trying to think of ways that we can do that again, because there's definitely, it would be a shame to like just to forget about how fun all that was. And I think a lot of people really enjoyed it, but in a way that's not taking too much of our time and is, you know, is valuable, but I'm willing to put some thought into it. I love everything you've done as far as like the parody stuff, and I'd love to put the NASA Man out. I'll probably play that on the way out.
Okay.
But it's genius.
Yeah.
Huh?
I said I'll send you the link, but that one was good. And Alex is just so amazing because he can do whatever.
Does it fast and professional as hell. So and he's another person that's like, he was doing it for the cause, and that's why I like this community. Like a lot of people will not give up a second of their energy for nothing in return. And people like Alex Michaels just does it because he just loves it. And
he likes us, and he likes the community, and he wants to help us out. And that's why, you know, because you and I did that with the crowd doing We Didn't Start the Fire, or Why Do We Trust These Liars? And I remember you and I were both taking turns at singing, and then you kind of said like, so what should we do? You know, take turns singing? I'm like, I could ask Alex, and you're like, would he do it? I'm like, I don't know. We could ask him.
New tip from Justin Johnson. Thank you for all you do 20.
Hey, thank you, Justin.
Justin, great. Speaking of people that are awesome in the community, Justin supported everyone. There's anything I was saying earlier, I wasn't saying about Justin, but then I wrote to him and said, hey, would you be interested in doing this? And like literally the next day I sent it to you. Like and you're like, what? I'm like, start working on the video. He's done.
I know he moves so fast. I'm like, holy shit! I need like a nap first.
Again, it was one of those ones where I sent him the NASA Man can, and just said, what do you think? And he's like, I like it. And then I said, okay, you want to try it? He's like, yeah. And the next morning, sure enough, I wake up and it's there, completely done. And it's like, okay, I guess I got to get on the video.
I know. But that's what's good though. It like cracks the whip on us to get shit done. You know, when you have like that kind of energy from all over, you know, like it's doesn't get stale and it gets done and it doesn't feel like work.
No, it didn't feel like we're even doing the video, even having to, was kind of like I wanted to make it good. And then one of the things is that his voice was a little, because he kind of sang a different version of the movie. So I was like, there's just a couple points that are off kilter. And so I just like would throw something up on the screen during that time and people didn't even notice. You wouldn't even notice because I kind of always covered up when the voices weren't matching.
Oh, gotcha.
It turned out good.
Yeah.
I'll see it here in a second if I can find it. I think I've got it somewhere.
It's brilliant, man. You know, it's funny. I didn't know that you did that. I texted you. I'm like, because I was listening to your stream and I was kind of like not listening to stuff for a while. And so like I was listening to one of your streams and I'm like, hey, you know what? You need a new video. And then like you came out with that one the next day. I'm like, oh, never mind. You got one.
Oh, right. I think I played it a little bit before to kind of tease it in the video.
Yeah.
But no, that's why I'm on GNN to change that account. But no, I mean, Alex is so talented, and that's another, one where somebody like that who he probably has damaged his ability to get gigs because of doing what he's done. And so it's like that kind of person. I feel like I wish we had a community or like a, some sort of organization that funded things like, I mean, think of all the good work he could do. So it's just rough.
Absolutely.
He can't spend time doing it for zero, which is what would happen if he did it. And he already does that. So I'm not saying he isn't. He does it for zero. So
yeah, no, I mean, that's the thing. When being a musician though, like I guess that's something I kind of came to terms with really early on, is that
just the way it goes.
Doing things for money is just not in the cards. And so when it does come, it's always nice. Laurie's like, play NASA Man. All right. Are you sending me the
I'm sent to you right now. I'm just
the
finding
link
it here. I was looking in live streams, which is why I didn't find it. All right, here we go. I'll send you the link in the copy link address, and it'll be a Telegram again.
Cool.
There you go. But no, this is a great show that you're doing, and I always like your shows. I always tune in. You usually see me in the chat. I'll usually pop in. I usually have it in the background. I'm doing other things, so people are always like, "I don't see you in the chats." I'm like, "No, I'm usually there. I'll say like hello, say something," but then I am working in the garage and just listening. I really don't have time.
That's what I do. I'm the same exact way. I always feel bad because I'll pop in and then someone will say something to me and I'm already like moving on because I like to listen. I'm not a visual guy. Like I'm all about doing something while I'm listening to these streams, but it's all good. I get it. All right, let's see here. Let me share. We'll play this and then we'll come back and do final goodbyes and I'll get you out of here at 2:30 for sure.
Sounds good.
All right. Bam. There we go. All right.
All right. What's it going to be? A galactic farce for Christopher? An exoplanet for Otis? And not a nebula for June Marie? And listen, NASA's got a new one today.
What is it?
This is called a scamdiddlyumptious bar.
A scamdiddlyumptious bar? How does he do it?
My dear boy, do you ask how they fly in a vacuum?
No.
Or why they Photoshop Earth?
No.
No, sirree, you don't. They do it because they have to and know what's best for you. NASA was born to be a scam man, and you look like you're born to be a scammed man. Who can take the sunrise and say it's you who truly moved? Cover up their screw-ups with a murder, maybe 2.
Or 3 or 4.
The NASA man. The NASA man can. The NASA man can, 'cause he lies, he cheats, he scams, but for our own good. Who can take the night sky, drape it in a lie, polish up some mirrors and say that they see back in time?
The NASA man?
The NASA man. The NASA man can. The NASA man can, 'cause he lies, he cheats, he scams, but for our own good. The NASA man creates pictures that are fake. The ones of Saturn seem suspicious. He puts the stars as far as he wishes and makes new words for unreal distance. Who can take tomorrow and come up with a scheme? Flying planes much faster than we thought with the jet stream. The NASA man. The NASA man can. The NASA man can. The NASA man can, 'cause he lies, he cheats, he scams, but for our own good. And who can make a chemtrail crisscross way up high and call it global warming when it heats up in July? The NASA man? The NASA man. The NASA man can. The NASA man can, 'cause he lies, he cheats, he scams, but for our own good. Who can talk to Nixon?
Hello, Neil and Buzz.
250,000 miles in the sky.
I'm talking to you by telephone.
2-second delay, but from the ISS it's 5. The NASA man? The NASA man.
What is the ISS position right now?
The NASA man can, 'cause he lies, he cheats, he scams, but for our own good.
11 seconds.
The NASA man creates geocentric coordinates. Stationary taste delicious. The spinning ball is pure fictitious. Astronauts are having green screen glitches. Who can take a rainbow, make it perverted, not divine? But who can be inclusive and hire that new guy, Caroline? The NASA man? The NASA man. The NASA man can. The NASA man can, 'cause he lies, he cheats, he scams, but for our own good. So we should believe we are spinning, 'cause the NASA man says we should.
Excellent.
Good stuff. Good stuff. You keep it in my
So
heart.
good. How'd you find this at the end here? That version of at the end there. What is that?
I found it earlier when I was looking for background tracks for that song, and then I just happened to try and put, like, you can put any song and then put hip hop after it. Like, take the song and then put hip hop remix. You'll find anything. But
Oh yeah, that's one of my favorite songs to do live. I got a version of that on my
Oompa Loompa.
I have a version of that on my SoundCloud. Yeah, I did like an acoustic version of that song. It's
With your own words, or?
Well, no, just the actual words. I just run through all the. But this is like I mean I made that like in 2010.
Oh, gotcha.
I've always been a fan of that.
Yeah,
but
me
man,
too.
yeah, great job, man. Like all of that is great, and you're right. The lips sync up on that like pretty nicely.
Yeah, they went really good. Yeah, and I was lucky because it wasn't like I told him, "Hey, do this and do it like the guy did in the movie." It so happened that we kind of were. Then I was thinking about what video to do, and no matter what I thought about it, I was like, it just doesn't work unless it's the movie. Like it just doesn't work, and there's no other way.
Oh,
I originally
it's
thought,
beautiful.
how Alex does the 5G song, and he's dressed as the scientist. And he's like in the little gown, and he's like with his legs, got no pants on. I'm like, that's the NASA man, in my opinion. Like I would have really liked him to just dance around and do it in that, but I knew that would be asking too much. You have to break up the green screen and the editing, and
Right? Yeah, that's a lot of work. No, what you did was perfect, and it's really really funny. The Scam Diddle-de-umptious bar is just
that I have to give to
unbelievable.
Missa. That's Mrs.
That's so fucking genius.
Yeah.
Oh man. All right. Well, last words here. Please support Jeran at Whoop. Jeranism.
Yes, think of me as an Italian
WAP.
Muppet. WHP.com/Jeranism. And
Yeah,
if not, hey, my stuff's hope that people do. So share my videos, because if enough people do, then I don't have to actually put anything behind any paywalls on Rockfin or on YouTube. So, but we're still a couple hundred away from that. So let's see. It's just started. We'll see if we get enough people. And we're doing hangouts every month. Right now, we're doing them twice a month, every first and third Saturday. And if you're into crypto, we do the crypto classes every other Friday night. So that's there's a lot of interaction stuff that you can do as well. It's not just you're just donating to me. And then you're also helping me make videos again and get back to some of the stuff that woke up the most people and the stuff that I love to do. So that is the hope. I would appreciate it. And if not, like I said, you can always help by sharing videos. I know a lot of truthers don't like to. I even tell people, drop them in your Facebook and put, "This idiot thinks the earth is flat." I don't even care, because what you're going to do is that person's going to watch. And I used to get a ton of people that would watch and say, "I thought you were dumb. I thought it was stupid. I laughed at you. And then something you said rang true in my head. And then before I know it, I was on a 2-week bender, becoming a flat earther." So
yeah, next thing I know, I'm listening to your voice to go to sleep every night, because I'm like,
all the time. I hear it from everybody. Stop telling me that. Just do it on your own time.
It's very soothing. It's very soothing.
All right, I gotta head out.
Yeah. All right, brother. Thanks for being on. I'm gonna end the stream as well. So yeah, cheers, brother. Thanks so much, and I'll see you at the experiment.
All right, sounds good. Yeah, I'll talk to you. And if people are interested in that, you can go to t.me/sunsetbehind, t.me/sunsetbehind, and there's not a lot of activity there yet, but we're going to be worrying about that pretty much starting tomorrow, I guess. Getting kind of our locations down for sure, and then I'll start talking to people in that group and make sure people know where we'll be. But it will definitely be probably San Diego the first night, which will be the 15th, because that's right where the sun should set behind San Clemente, like 73 miles away. Absolutely no reason we should see it on a ball Earth. So
yeah, no, I'm looking forward to that one. Staying with my brother down there, so that'll be fun explaining why I'm down there.
Gotta enjoy that one.
Yeah.
All right. Much love to you guys.
Much love, man. Okay, so Justin Johnson, yeah, it should pop up on my screen if you do want to send a tip. I didn't have it there before. It should now. For anybody who wanted to send a last minute tip, I was going to, but pretty much it is working, just so you guys know. I just have to have it on my screen in the front here, so it'll be very small. Still trying to figure out how to get that up there. One good thing though is soon I will be qualified for super chats within the YouTube, and that'll be a lot easier. But thank you so much, Justin, for your support, and anybody else that did, and putting that in the chat. Big thanks there. And yeah, I will not be doing a stream this Sunday because I will be out of town, and I should be doing one next Wednesday if I'm not still at the experiment. It's a 3-day thing. I'm playing it by ear, so check out my Telegram for announcements. And yeah, thanks all for watching. And here's a outro from my sponsor.
Are you experiencing signs of discomfort or irritability while watching NASA and space news? Have you noticed your sense of reality becoming more and more blatantly and obviously shattered? Do you find your cognitive dissonance increasing more and more as you live life post-pandemic? Are you struggling to maintain relationships with friends, colleagues, and loved ones? Well, now there's Flatterall. Flatterall has been tested and proven to help aid in the awakening of the collective consciousness. Flatterall can help you decipher the truth from the lies that we were all taught. Flatterall can help cure symptoms of chronic appealing to authority, systemic brainwashing, excessive need for conformity, NASA fanboy syndrome, delusional belief of the moon landing, and diarrhea. Talk to your doctor today and see if waking the up is right for you. Side effects may include losing your family, losing your job, losing your mind, questioning your sanity, questioning your gullibility, questioning literally everything in your life, and diarrhea.
Don't swallow the frog. Don't swallow the frog.